We live.
So, like I was saying, man, I just feel like it's funny that we're talking about this, right? Because yesterday I was in a space and we was talking about their bottom line, and I don't know. We were going off of, I think it was 2022 numbers, but their revenue share, um, just what they get from their what's it called, the broadcasting, the media deal, is like 400 million each. That's not including tickets, beer, soda, hot dog, parking, jerseys, paraphernalia, hats. That's just revenue sharing between the owners. I don't understand why any stadium has turf. Now I
Mm.
understand places like Minnesota and Buffalo, but Green Bay has turf.
You know,
So I don't get it. I don't understand it.
can I add something to what you're saying, certified? Because it brings more substance to what you're saying. Here in Germany, I just found this out like yesterday, the day before. We got a team, Dortmund, BVB Dortmund is the name of the team. They have a retractable grass pitch, so they can host all of these different events in their stadium. Do you know that that club is worth a fifth of what the Rams are worth? But the Rams are playing on turf,
I believe it.
2.2 million compared to 10.5. So it's, I mean, it's almost five times. Not a full five times, but it's close. And I just feel like there's no excuse. Like we had this conversation on Gridiron Views this past week too, where we talked about like the turf and player safety and all that. And we had the conversation earlier this offseason here about the referees and the replacement referees. And all of it ties back into player safety. And I don't understand how the NFL can be the biggest league in the world, call themselves the best sport, best league, best all of that, best athletes, but you're not playing on the best surfaces still. It doesn't make any sense. Your biggest investment is your players. It's not any of the other stuff. It's the players. Because why are we watching the game? Because we want to watch the players. I get everybody says, "Oh, I'm a fan of the team, not the player." Yeah, that sounds cool until all of your best players are down with injury, and then you don't have any reason to keep watching the games. So if the players are your biggest investment in the sport, why not, where they hold the most value in the sport, why not make sure that the playing field that they're playing on is the best in the world? Like Gillette Stadium already removed their grass and put turf back in. They just stopped hosting matches.
Shit, Arizona has two fields, and they rotate them. Like on game day, they so their field is broken up in sections, and they roll it in, but it
Yeah.
sits outside in the sun, and they water it and everything. So on game day, they roll in one of them, and the other one's outside. And then the next game, the one that they use stays outside, and they roll the other one in. And Arizona's at the bottom of the league as far as like um worth. So if they
So
can
the
afford it, everybody can
quick,
afford it.
quick question for you then, certified, because I didn't know that. You just taught me something. Um, that removes the excuse for stadiums like SoFi and MetLife, right? Because you have two teams that play,
See,
and the
I don't
excuse is,
know.
well, you have too much wear and tear.
I
But if you
found
have two
I
fields that
I
you're
don't know
splitting
if
up,
I found
SoFi
out about
has
that grass
the
situation in Arizona
space.
because of the Super Bowl.
I don't know if SoFi has the space to do it. I could be wrong. I don't know because SoFi is downtown. Where's SoFi at, Pop?
It's in Inglewood where the forum is.
So do y'all got a lot of grassy area, or is that like
No,
residential, commercial?
the property that's on that has been like commercial property for years.
So there's a lot of businesses around there.
Not necessarily like the lot that it's on. There was a casino there, and they tore that down, put this casino somewhere else. So it was pretty much a huge empty lot that they built SoFi and all the surrounding things over there.
So so basically, if they really, really wanted to, they could make it work
They
somehow.
could.
It's just that they didn't
Yeah,
want to make it work.
I
yeah,
And
mean, they could
that's
put
the
it in the
theme
parking
of
lot.
15 NFL owners, because there's 15 NFL stadiums that still have turf. And those
I
15
didn't even
stadiums are
know it was
really the
that
ones
many.
we're talking about. Yeah, it's not the ones that have grass, right? And we've had players that have had this problem for years, like David Bakhtiari famously refused to play on turf. He would not play on turf. He would only play in the games where the Packers played on grass. So if this has been an issue and like the NFL owners can clearly do it or at least acquiesce to it, and it's not a problem of money, it's greed. That's all it is on the owner's behalf. It's greed. Your biggest investment should be your players, but yet you're trying to cut corners and you rather change the sport and how it's played than to change the surface that the people are playing on. I just don't understand it.
I don't even know if it's greeds, right? Because that's a business expense. So you get that money back.
I think it's more throughout the season, so like maintaining repairs, stuff like that during the
Still,
season
it's a
that they have
business
to fork
expense.
out. I think that's where they stand at because I was just trying to read some articles, and that's kind of what the NFL owners kind of been standing on. Like the financial and operational costs is way cheaper with turf than it is with grass, and then the maintenance throughout the year is less, so you don't have to pay for people to maintain the grass during the off season. If you have turf, is it maintains itself. So it looks
I don't
like
know, bro.
that's kind of where they're at with the situation, which to me would kind of go with Dre. Why are you trying to save a couple dollars on some grass or turf when you're multi-billionaires? You should just invest the money into your biggest asset, which is the player. You know what I mean? You should be definitely
Yeah,
back
but
in all
I
stances.
mean, I feel what you're saying, but the problem with that is these guys look at margins, and that's what they're looking at, like the margins, and they figure that part of the margin talk is that I could put in turf and I could save money and I could make more money because that's what they're in this for to make money. And I don't
True.
necessarily agree that they shouldn't have grass. I think they, I like like they proved that for the World Cup they can have grass if they really wanted grass they can have it. But I do agree with Dre. Like I think it is a greed thing. It's like they don't want to spend the money to put in the grass and maintain the grass, and it's cheaper for the turf. And so they're looking to make like every cent that they can make.
You know what's
See,
crazy though
So
about
I
this?
looked up something real quick. Hold on, Dre. I looked up something real quick. So if all the stadiums were to change the grass, they're looking at about going from about 42,000 a year to 205,000 a year for maintenance
Per
costs
team
and
for
repairs.
maintenance.
So
I mean,
about 160,000 added to their bill. That's not
My
a lot.
only thing
that's a
is
practice
so
squad
my
player.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, so
come
like
on
my
now.
only thing is like if you go to grass and the players don't get hurt as no, so like I'm just saying like if the players stay healthy on the grass surface versus the turf, then that's gonna be your like return on investment that is worth the extra 60,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's my
160.
point. Look, it's crazy to me that the SEC understands this and the NFL doesn't. You know how many teams in the SEC actually have a turf field they play on? Two.
I don't think it's
And they're
many
the
at all. Was
poverty
it like a couple?
programs. It's
A
two.
few.
And it's the problem. It's
Yeah.
two of the poverty programs in the conference. It's Arkansas and Kentucky.
Wait a
You
minute,
go over
LSU
to the
don't have turf?
ACC.
Nah,
No,
they have grass, man.
LSU
Oh, I
has
thought they played in the
a
dome.
real grass field. If
Nah,
you
they play
look at
outside.
ACC,
we went to outside. Field.
the ACC, there's only one dome that I know of in college football, and it's Syracuse, which is in the ACC, one of six teams that has turf. The other five are Wake Forest, Cal, Duke, Georgia Tech, and Louisville. Go to the Big Ten. Now, Big Ten, you have some of your bigger teams that have turf. You got Ohio State, you got Indiana, you got Oregon
So
that
for the
all play
whole
on turf.
NCAA, Dre, 94 teams have grass out of 133. That's
Yeah,
including
that's most of them.
FBS and FCS.
From
Yeah.
from Power Four, it's about 50% of Power Four teams that have grass as opposed to turf. So it's it's
And I get it
94
that it's
college
more.
teams play on turf as opposed to 39 on grass. But I was of those 39 that play on natural grass, 30 of them are Power Four, or 38 of them, excuse me, are Power Four teams, as opposed to only 30 Power Four teams that have actual turf.
I mean, but the one thing I would say is if the players is die hard about this issue, when the next CBA comes up, like they should be arguing for this. Like this shit should be in the CBA that grass is a mandatory, like a service that they want to have in every field. So I mean, I'm not sure when the next CBA negotiations coming up, but like if the players are tweeting about it all week, then that's just something that they're gonna have to add into the CBA. Like it's something that they're not gonna want to budge on.
The
Because I mean, because
next,
obviously the owners are not going to do it willfully. Like that's not going to happen.
And that means
well,
it
and I
just
think
ain't
it,
gonna happen then, because the owners got a loophole. The majority of the league is uh what's that minimum uh minimum
That's
salary players. That's the
that's also a
majority of the
long time,
league.
J Nick. The next CBA is in
So
2031.
all
yeah.
they're going
Yeah,
to do is they're going to be like, okay, well, we'll add an extra because they do it every CBA. This is how they get what they want. They pander to the majority of the league, which is players that make the minimum salary, and they say we'll raise the minimum salary 50,000, and
yeah,
they
but then
go
the
for it
players don't.
because it's like they're like, well, I'm not Micah Parsons. I'm not going to be in the league 12 years. I might be in the league 3 years. I need that extra 50, $75,000, and that's how they keep getting these CBAs passed.
Well, it's because
Well, well, it's
those
their job
lower.
right now. Well, what I was about to say, Dre, it's their job. Like, you don't gotta wait till the CBA negotiations start happening. You start now. Like, you start, 5 years before, and you talk. They have a union, so the union members talk to the members because they have meetings like once or twice a year. You talk to them like one of the main things we're gonna be fighting for is the grass, and so like you've got to kind of get people together on that issue right now, and then when you get to 2031, then y'all are like y'all are a
Well,
solidified unit, and that's what you're gonna ask for, and that's what you're gonna bargain for.
Man, you might
the
have to pull what
difference
the
to me is
referees
the
pull,
World
bro.
Cup.
You gonna cap. You
The
might have to pull the
difference
referees move.
the difference is the World Cup, because the World Cup showed that these stadiums that were not willing to add turf, because their owners can, or to add grass, excuse me, can replace that turf with grass. And right now, we are seeing this movement with NFL players. It started yesterday. I mean, it's been a talked about subject, but with the hashtag, it started yesterday. It's worth the cost, and you've seen guys like Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Williams. Um, Recently, today, I saw Jackson Dart also join the worth the cost movement. So a lot of these players are joining the worth the cost thing. And I think they are trying to make this a bigger subject now. And I think it's because of the World Cup. Like it's always been talked about, but now it kind of feels like the owners are playing in these players' faces because it just happened. Like I said it before you got here, J Mick. Gillette just had real natural grass in it. Not even 4 days after the last match was played, they tore up the natural grass to put the turf back in.
I mean, to me,
That
if
right there,
stadiums like,
that players don't like that, man.
yeah, I mean, for me, if Green Bay could have grass, man, anybody, the kind of weather they have in the wintertime, if they can keep that grass going, then pretty much any outside stadium in any location, I mean, like Foxborough, like, yeah, like it gets cold, but I don't think it gets as cold as Green Bay does. And the weather's not as extreme. It's extreme, but I don't think it's, as extreme as the weather in Green Bay. So if Green Bay could do grass, I'm sorry, like anybody could do grass. Like it's like, but I always knew this. It's a choice. They chose not to do it because they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Which is
I mean, it's just like, but it's not just this issue. The owners play in the players' faces all the time, and this is not the only issue that they do that with. And you know, like, and I mean, you're right about the World Cup. Like, it was shown that they could have grass if they want to, they just choose not to.
Yeah, I think the World Cup is a tipping point. Honestly, I just don't see. I don't see how, because when was the last time the World Cup was played in America? Probably what, the 80s, 90s, something like that. Like, it's been a long,
I
long
think
time since that happened.
I think it was 1994, but I don't, because I think as a kid I watched it. I don't think those stadiums had grass then, though. Like, because I don't think
No,
people were.
I mean, the
I think it
Mexico,
was.
the Mexico Stadium, which I think I'm thinking about the 80s, but I think that was all over North America. I know that one had grass for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, because like in the 90s, it was purely in the United States. Like, we didn't share it with Mexico and Canada though. It was purely in the country. And I don't for a fact remember that every stadium had grass. Like, I mean, it was over 30 years ago, but I don't remember that.
I believe if the NFL players feel as adamantly as it seems, they're gonna have to pull what the referees pulled, because 5 years from now don't really make sense, because a lot of the people that might be fighting for this won't be in the league in 5 years. So it's a situation where you might have to attack the NFL at its weakest point, which we've talked about multiple times: money. So if you're not willing to play, then they're going to be willing to pay. That's where I stand at with it. I mean, I was looking at it, Dre. It's a lot of NFL players that are posting and backing the situation. If those type of caliber of players that I've seen right now, Caleb Williams, Tucker Kraft, George Kittle, people like that, if they start gathering their compadres together and say, "Hey, man, look, we not playing on turf," the NFL will act, man. They not dumb, and they are greedy, so they'll get to it. I mean, it's not that much for all y'all to come together and just what I mean, and get those 15 stadiums grass. I
okay.
don't think waiting 5 years is the plan, because 5 years from now, some of these guys that's fighting for this won't even be playing football.
Yeah, but the
So
point I'm trying to
just
make
to
is
just to
you already.
clarify what you said earlier, J Mick, all of the games in '94 were played on natural grass. So
Okay,
even
see, I
then,
didn't know
all the
that.
games were played on natural grass, but that was still a different NFL than the modern NFL.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I mean, the league is making a lot more money now than it was in 1994. I mean, to me, the owners could be like, well, it's not in the CBA. There's no guidance for us that we have to have grass. So they're like, we're just not going to do it. And then, so I mean, what you going to do then? Like, so I mean, you're going to miss checks? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think this is something that they can really hammer down until you get to the next CBA, because like there's nothing in the CBA saying that they have to have grass. I mean, I mean, like, I'd have to go through and search through it and see, but I don't think that's in there. So I mean, the owners could be like, well, I guess you're gonna miss checks then.
Yeah, but if it's a
Or
if it's
maybe
a
they,
majority, the checks ain't gonna matter. If we can get majority of us to sit, we could force their hand. Yeah, you miss checks if everybody play and I'm the only one looking crazy. But if it's
mm,
60% of the league say, "Hey, man, I'm not playing," you can't play the season with 40%.
Yeah, I
no, but
don't
that
think they're
goes
gonna sit
back
out
to
games for playing services, man. I just don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, like, they
that
don't
goes
want to
back
sit
to what
out games
Certified
for like
said though.
guarantee for like guaranteed contracts and other issues. So I'm not sure they're gonna just do it for the grass.
But look,
I mean,
Certified
I
said it
mean, no shit. I
earlier.
could be wrong.
A lot of these players aren't making a bunch of money in the league. So you're not. It's not about appealing to the high money uh, players, because they'll be able to survive when no games are being played and no checks are being um, passed out. The players that won't be able to survive are the guys that aren't making that type of money, that aren't the smartest with their money, and they're reliant on that money that they get week to week from the NFL. I know it sounds crazy that some people could live like that with that amount of money, but there's still people at that level that don't manage their money well. And those guys are going to be the first ones to fold. So unless those big money players are willing to donate some money to the lower level players, I don't think it'll work.
I mean, but we also got to see how serious that these players are about this issue. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple tweets, from like high key players, but we got to first see how serious they are about this. I mean, I guess as you go through training camp, you're gonna figure out how serious that they really are, like like about this whole grass thing.
I agree with the players. The players are using the hashtag worth the cost, and I agree with them. I think it's worth the cost to install grass if it's going to minimize the number of injuries and the injury risk of the players. Because nobody wants to watch a season where you don't have Mahomes playing, or you don't have Lamar playing, or you don't have any of these stars playing because they're getting hurt on unavoidable
Definitely.
situations. Some injuries can't be avoided, but a lot of the time, man, like Malik last year, he just got stuck in the turf. I don't think that happens on natural grass. At least not the same way it did, but it's just the league that we're in now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think
and I
I've
think
ever
you're gonna
seen
always have
a.
injuries.
Yeah, I mean you will, but I don't think I've ever seen a non-contact ACL injury on grass.
Because grass is way more forgiving. Like anybody that played football, if you played on turf and you played on grass, I would assume like you might have liked turf because you were faster, but like from hitting the actual ground and stuff like that,
Man,
anybody that
that
says they'd
turf feel
rather
like
play on
concrete.
turf than grass is crazy. All them
That
beads
turf
that
feel
get
like
stuck up in
concrete,
your
bro.
skin and they cut you up and all, like, nobody want to deal with all that, man. Give
That
me a nice
turf feel like
natural lush grass field.
concrete, solid
Now,
concrete too.
now I understand like Achilles is different. It's just it's gonna pop. If it pop, it was gonna pop anyway. You could pop it getting out of bed. But your Achilles, man, I could be wrong, but I can't think of off the top of my head a single. I've seen plenty of guys that blew out their knee non-contact on turf, but I don't think I've ever seen a guy blow out his knee non-contact on grass.
I mean, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I could think of like five off the top of my head that have happened on MetLife. So
I mean, I'm just saying. I know it might not happen, but if they want the grass, they're gonna have to force the hand. I don't think it's gonna be any other way. I think even if you wait for the CBA, somebody said it earlier, they're gonna figure out a way to get out of that too.
well, I don't really even remember this, but I just Googled to see. I remember D'Amico suing the league over turf.
I don't.
Kinda.
I
I
can't
don't. I
recall
don't
that.
like. I don't
It was
remember
it
the
was
whole.
turf
I
conditions.
think
They've been sued
I
multiple
think it
times
was
over turf
I think
conditions
it was
throughout
Reggie
history, by the
Bush.
way.
Didn't Reggie
Well,
Bush?
D'Amico did it too. I'll see if I can find more examples to your point. But yeah, they've been sued multiple times throughout history for turf. So this isn't new. Yeah, yes. It was a severe field adjacent injury. He got 12.5 million. Um, and it's because they used to that stadium, the field was nicknamed the concrete ring of death. And yeah, that wasn't the turf though. That was because of I think that was outside of the turf. It was like around the field or something like that. But they've been sued because of field conditions in the past. It is not past NFL players to make their voices be heard when it comes to those issues. It's just about if you can get enough of them together to where it really makes a difference. And to Certified's point about like the lower paid players in the league, I think that was a great point, and I think that kind of sums up the argument. Unless you can get those guys on board, it may be worth the cost, but it's not worth the loss to those players.
I mean, if they smart, they can appeal to those players. Because, I mean, come to it like, hey, bro, think about it. You're only gonna be here 3, 5 years. And then what if you go out on that field and you blow your knee out your first year, you already on practice squad. What's the likelihood you coming back for a second year? Probably zero.
Dre, did you see how many times the Players Association has fought for grass over turf in the CBA?
I did
How
not look
many?
that up.
I didn't look it up yet. I was looking it up now.
I mean, it's
That's
been an ongoing conversation. It's just, if we want to be honest about it, it's been an ongoing conversation. But the NFL players found it more important to fight for their ability to smoke weed than to play on a on a safe playing surface. Let's be honest. They could have bargained for this in the last CBA. They was bargaining for being able to smoke weed and not getting drug tested. So until they get their priorities right, yes, it's worth the cost. But I also don't feel bad for them if they can't get this done. Get your priorities in order.
Yeah, it's
I mean, they
definitely
should have
been
been
a
bargaining for this. To be honest with you, like this is something that they should have got right. I'm kind of with Dre on that. Like it's a lot of things that they could bargain for, but they wanted to smoke weed more than any other issue. So I mean, if it don't happen, it's kind of on them because they should have been fighting for it.
They
yeah. I
wanted to
remember.
smoke weed and
hold
practice
on.
less.
Hold on. I do see something right here. In the 2025-2026, they did pass a surface upgrade in the CBA. So the NFL, NFLPA successfully agreed on a new model for selecting playing surfaces. This will require all teams by 2028 to have stadiums with the required approved high standard fields. I don't know what that stands for, but I'm assuming it's just going to be better turf. Is that what they're saying?
It's got to be like a higher grade turf or something like because I mean every turf material isn't created the same. Like they have some that like actually mix the grass in with the turf too.
And
So I mean it's
Jamie,
not like it's not
about your waiting
yep.
for the next CBA, they've been fighting every CBA for the last 10 years for grass, and they've lost every time.
Well, I
But it
mean
wasn't their
they got a
most.
pressing issue though.
They
I
had,
think that's pressing.
but it's the priorities. They fought for a lot in the last CBA, but what did they prioritize? Because it damn
I
Refund?
sure
mean
wasn't grass.
it was weed and practicing less pretty much. That's pretty much
Yeah,
what
they
the
wanted to
priorities
practice
were.
less and smoke weed.
You know, it's funny at the end, it says, due to other arguments being more prevalent, the NFLPA had to give up concessions in grass for improvement elsewhere.
AKA, if y'all want to smoke weed and practice less, y'all gonna keep playing on these fields. Because if y'all not gonna
Yeah.
take care of y'all bodies to the maximum level, why should I care about your health?
Yeah, I mean,
Facts.
that's why I mentioned the next CBA because I don't think the owners are just going to willfully get them grass. Like it doesn't appear to be that way. So I mean, they could try it, with this Twitter campaign and the hashtag campaign. I mean, shoot, I mean, I could be wrong. It might work. I doubt it, but it might work. But I just think the surefire way is in the next CBA is for y'all to get together as a collective and say, look, we're refusing to play on turf. We're going to require a grass surface, and they're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah, I get that too. I think you just got to put a little bit more pressure behind it. If that's the case, you're gonna have to get more players involved than just like the 10 that's involved now. You're gonna need a lot more guys hashtagging and kind of putting it out there. But I don't even know if that pushes the envelope enough
But I
for the
also agree with what
NFL.
Certified said. It's not just the top players. Like this has implications for everybody that steps onto that field on a Thursday, Sunday, or Monday, or whatever day they're playing games. It's not just for the guys making that got $100 million contract. It's for them guys that play on special teams. Because if you on the turf and if you're the 52nd or 53rd man on the roster and you blow out your knee, the likelihood of you that you're gonna play another game and like you one of these like players that aren't like getting paid a whole bunch of money, I wouldn't like your odds. So I mean, so it actually works to their benefit as well.
Shit, bro. I don't like that. I was making another team.
Yeah.
I mean, how
So
long you gonna be on practice squad? Healthy, you know. So and
yeah.
you blow your knee out or your Achilles on practice squad. That's you probably done, bro.
And the
It's
crazy thing to me is like if you've ever gone to any of these like these training camp practices, a lot of most of these teams are practicing outside on a grass surface. Like it's not like they're not practicing on a turf because like New England has like a grass turf surface in the stadium. But like I've been in their joint practices. Their practice field is 100% grass. Like that to me
what's
is the funny thing. Like you practice on grass, but you don't want to let the players play on a grass surface.
well, it's not that you don't want to let them play on that surface. You're too greedy to allow them to play on a grass surface because a stadium is a venue where other events are held. That's the biggest issue here. Is that the owners are prioritizing because the NFL season is only a couple months, right? So for them to maximize the amount of money that they can make off of these stadiums, they have to be able to host other events. But you can do that with a natural grass field.
Yeah, but Dre,
BVB
like
Dortmund is doing it here in Germany, and they're worth a fifth of what the Rams owner or the Rams as a team are worth. And I'm
I mean
guarantee
Dre,
that their owner is not worth what the Rams owner is worth. So don't talk to me about the cost. Make it happen if you really care about it. But on the player side, this needs to be your number one priority if it's this important to you.
I mean, but what I would tell you is that's not an excuse, man. Like I'm gonna just say this: like I was in Yankee Stadium last weekend. They have grass on that field. All they did was literally like like they had this planking that they put down because I have floor seats or whatever.
Hey, Mr. Outside, tell them how many days you went to
The people
Yankee
that
Stadium.
Look, you see that little flex he threw in there? He said he had to flex. I see you,
so
good brother.
so
I
I mean,
see
for
you.
like
Hey,
for
I
somebody
see
to
you.
tell me, oh well, we want to
Trying
like
to get
and
like
I
you.
understand they're saying this, but like so for me, you can't say because we want to have other events. We can't have grass. Like it's 2026. Like there are things you could do if you have natural grass to allow you to still have
Yes.
concerts in your arenas and stuff. So I mean
What
that excuse is really not gonna fly for me.
that's the
You
soccer
was on
team I was
Yankee
just talking about.
you was on Yankee Field.
Yeah. I mean, like,
What was
I
going
mean,
on out there?
I missed a little Jay-Z concert, man.
A little Jay Z
Oh,
concert.
It was a little Jay-Z concert.
we
Ah,
find out you a part of Rock Nation, man.
Nah,
I heard it
I'm
was a
definitely not.
three-part concert, bro. Which part did you catch?
Man, I caught every single bit of it, man.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse
But
me. All right.
nah,
You
I
got
mean, like,
No,
accent.
I
but
mean, I was in. And go ahead.
I was to what you were saying that that's not an excuse. That's what I was saying about that stadium here that we have. There's a soccer team that's not worth near as much as the Rams that has a retractable field, and they made it possible for their guys to play on soccer and still be able to host all these events outside of that. I mean, the Cardinals have the same thing. So there's multiple stadiums out there that do have natural grass that allow for other events to still be held because of modern day technology. And these NFL owners just need to get with the program, honestly.
Hey, bro, I ain't taking no shots, but your team and the Jets, the fan base and the revenue that y'all bring in, y'all that combined, y'all that the cost should be nothing. And it's in New Jersey. I don't know if people know this, but a lot of the agriculture on the East Coast comes from New Jersey. A lot of your fruit and vegetables come from New Jersey.
Well, the argument for MetLife, and I'm not saying I agree with this argument to be clear, because the same thing we talked about with SoFi earlier. But you have multiple teams that play there, and then you host other events outside of those multiple teams that play there. So
Well,
their
use
argument
the
is
turf for the
we
other
don't.
events.
Well, I mean, but you got to take out the grass then every time you have another event, and or you have to get the retractable field, which means adding technology to your stadium.
Yeah, so
I mean,
that's
but
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, but my thing is the Jets and the Giants are making hand over fist money. Like the teams be teams recently haven't been that good. And if you look at the ticket prices, man, from the ticket prices to the parking, it's not that cheap
Man,
to go see a game out there. And they've
look at the market they
No,
in.
yeah. And like they've proven they can have grass at that field because the World Cup final is being held there on Sunday. Like they've been playing on
exactly.
grass the whole time the tournament been there. So I'm sorry, but it's like we're dealing with a bunch of billionaires. Like they can afford this cost.
Well, but
Yeah.
there again, it's a money thing because now for you to put the new technology in, we would have to go see what the cost of that would be, right? Because if you want to add a retractable field, it probably would be possible, but there's probably a lot that has to be done to make it possible,
But I
and
think
that's a
the up
lot of money you're spending.
yeah, but I think the upfront cost would be the majority of the money. Yeah, I mean there would be maintenance involved, but like I mean to me the maintenance wouldn't be as much as like the upfront cost.
But you might need two fields, just like Certified said that the Cardinals have two fields. Now you need this technology going both ways. Like there is hurdles to jump over, but I will say some of these stadiums are also terrible and need to be updated anyway or replaced. So maybe some of the stadiums we see where guys have turf now, when those school or when those teams in the future maybe get new stadiums, maybe we see them then adapt natural grass more because of the technology we have nowadays. Or
Yeah, I
maybe
would
that's
go
just a
something like
fantasy. Who
that.
knows?
I wouldn't bet on
So you think it's just a fantasy?
it. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. I and
So
and
you
real
selling, huh?
quick, I don't even think that it's a money thing. I just feel like it's an ego thing. Like I said, they can afford it. They can afford it. Okay. There are companies that are lining up to give a enormous discount for that service. Just let me promote my company in your stadium. Let me be on one of those commercials. With put Patrick Mahomes in a commercial with us. Okay. There are companies that are lining up that would happily do this at an enormous discount.
All right,
So
well,
at,
go ahead, Dre.
to wrap up what you saying, if it's possible for almost the whole rest of the world to get on the same page of having natural grass, because soccer globally is the biggest sport still, and all of these teams are playing on natural grass for the most part. I don't see why you can't get a couple of NFL owners on board to go get some natural grass. We're talking about the rest of the world, so get it done, man.
Yeah. Because I'm just saying, if a company say they run a commercial and they let's say they bring your mascot or your cheerleaders, we're the official lawn care professional for MetLife Stadium. Man, come on,
What
dog.
about a logo on the field?
Yeah,
Certified to your point.
yeah.
You put the logo on the field, that right there, I mean, it's being viewed in especially for MetLife, right? MetLife has a home game, every weekend almost. So you're talking about probably 18 home games that your name would be on that field and being viewed by millions and millions of people over that span because everybody's watching the games. So I think that was a great point. But go ahead, Smitty. I think we're still living in fantasy land.
Check. Check. Check down. This the check down. We give it to you straight. We really watch the tape. Possible catch. We give it to you straight. This the check down. We really watch the tape.
What's good, Philly fam? I mean, check down fam. This is not the Philly fam. My bad. We back, man, with another one, man. Obviously, y'all heard us have a good conversation about what we need to do for grass, but we got to get into the meat and potatoes of the show. We are back. Part two of the fantasy. Um, this week we are doing offensive buyers and sellers. Uh, so we're gonna get into that, man. But we appreciate y'all for tapping in, showing us some love, man. If you haven't already, man, hit the like, hit the subscribe, ding that notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And leave us a comment, man. We always like comments. But first, man, and foremost, man, how everybody doing, man? Sir, what's good with you?
Hey man, football is in the air, brother, and I'm excited.
Right around the corner. Dre, what's good with you, bro?
I'm feeling great. Like Sir said, football around the corner. We back with another good episode. I'm excited, man.
Pop, what's happening?
I'm chilling, chilling. Glad to be back with the people.
The infamous Mr. Outside, J Mick. How's it outside, my brother?
I'm back inside this weekend, but nah, man, I survived Jay-Z. I'm extra in this, man. Boy, that was a long concert, but I survived it. I'm good. I'm back home. Just getting ready for my team training camp about to start next week, man. That's what's going on. I mean, training camp here, like Sir said, man. My football is on the horizon, man.
All right, now look, I normally don't do this, right? I normally don't make people go in order. I usually ask who going in order. But I'm gonna need Certified and J Mick to go first because they have a controversy on their list. I need one to tell me why he a buyer and the other one to tell me why he a seller. So who want to go to first, the buyer or the seller? Denzel
I mean,
Boston. We need to hear about it.
well, I mean, I would say whoever's buying them should go first, and that will not be
All
me.
right, well, sir.
I'm sorry, brother. Say it again. My
You have
sound went
Denzel
out like
Boston as
30
a
seconds.
buyer. You have okay, 30
Uh-huh.
seconds. All
Oh,
right, but you have
well, let
Denzel
me
Boston
see,
as a
man.
rookie buyer. He has him as a rookie seller.
I just feel like now you got to understand all of this is off of mini camp. Okay. Um, I know Judy has struggled his tenure in Cleveland. Casey Concepcion has struggled from the footage that I've seen. David Boston seems like the guy that's been rising to the top. I think they don't have a true number one, and from what I've seen, he's put himself in a really good position to be their number one option. So um, I want to see if he can do it.
Well, I think there is some upside there with Boston. Obviously, I think there's a touchdown upside there down in the red zone. It's all about how well they're going to be able to move the football down the field. And I do like the receiver core they have. So I could see why you buy it, but I do think he is kind of a boom or bust guy, and I think he's going to be relying on touchdowns for the most part.
For me, if I'm just thinking about Denzel Boston, in, in a redraft league, he's a guy I'll probably just keep my eye on in the waiver wire. See how he's performing and stuff, and probably take a chance on him later in the season.
So let me get into why I sold on Denzel Boston. There's a couple different reasons. First of all, I didn't like him coming into the draft. I just felt like his hands are not exactly the best. So that's one of the reasons why I'm selling on him. And the other is kind of the team composition. So I mean, to me, like they drafted a running back last year. One of those kids out of Ohio State. I mean, like his name is escaping me right now. I feel like he's really good. I mean, he can do a lot of things. I mean, he can run between the tackles, he can catch the ball. Then they also have a tight end, and I mean Harold Fannin that showed that he's a really good tight end as a rookie last year. So I expect growth out of him. And I honestly I like KC Concepcion better than I do Denzel, like Denzel Boston. So I just feel like the pecking order on that team, he's not going to be that high on the pecking order. And I just don't think he's gonna have such a great season. And then the other the last reason. Sorry, and I was going to call, but like the last reason is the quarterback situation. It's very uncertain of that quarterback situation. I believe Deshaun going to win the job. I mean, but there's a chance halfway through the season that they might go to Shador. Like I just don't know that. So when I mix all those things in together, like I'm just gonna sell on Denzel Boston. Like I just don't feel like he's gonna have a great year. And I agree with Pop. Like just because I'm selling on him before the season starts, don't mean that I'm not gonna have him on my watch list in my fantasy leagues. Like I'm gonna be watching him and have him on my watch list. Like the first couple weeks to see what he does and see what his production looks like. But I'm just not enthused about him as a candidate right now in the preseason to to have a really boom season.
When it comes to Denzel Boston, I believe he's to me. I don't have him as a buyer or seller. I think he's a tweener. I think he's right now in a situation where he's kind of like in the consideration of who is the starting quarterback. Um, Obviously, it's between to me two people right now: Deshaun Watson and Shador Sanders. And then it's how he progresses with being on the obviously it's gonna be three of them on the field that are all buying for valuable possessions, right? So you got Judy, KC, Denzel Boston all on the same roster trying to get touches and then they got the tight end. So it's like a situation where like if he breaks out early, he could have a really, really good season in fantasy. But if he starts to struggle, and you see in KC Concepcion, you seeing um, Jerry Judy, you seeing the what's the tight end name? Harold Fanning. You seeing those guys get the touches, then it could be a long season for Denzel where he ends up somewhere in the middle of that team as far as production. It's a little hard for me to know where he sits, but I think if first go around, I don't know if I pick him up. I kind of agree, like he might be on the waiver wire where I pick him up later.
I think his blocking ability and what he shows in camp is in preseason is going to be very important because I think with Monken as your OC, you're going to be asked to block as a receiver, and if you can't do it, um, you're not going to be on the field. So I'm not saying he can't do it, but I want to see how it translates to the NFL and if he can have success doing that there. And also, they just rebuilt that offensive line for the most part. And they have another running back in that room too. I like Dylan Sampson. He didn't pop off early like I thought he would, but he's still on my watch list too. So it's going to be hard, man, to get the touches in that room. I agree.
All right, so anybody want to talk about their buyers and sellers? I wanted that one to happen because I seen they both had the controversy on the list. I don't think there's another one like that. So if
I
you
mean,
want
we
to go,
might as
Jimmy,
well.
it's already up here. I mean, if you want to jump in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, I can go ahead. For buyers, buyers, I had Chase Brown and I mean Luther Burton as my two veteran. Well, I call them. I mean, like Burton's a second year player, but in terms of them not being rookies, I have them as my buyers, and then I had my rookie buyer as Zachariah Branch. Chase Brown to me, I mean, for me, he's been a sleeper running back for the last couple of years. I believe he ran for 1,000 last year, and I think he caught like 400 or 500 yards in receiving. I think he ran for like 5 touchdowns and he caught 6. So I just think in that offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jaceki playing the tight end, and I forgot who the third wide receiver was. I just forgot who it was. I think it's Yoshi. Um, I just think like defenses are so focused on the wide receiver weapons that it gives him space in that offense. And I feel like they also improved their offensive line. So like, I mean, he might be able to run for another 1,000 yards just like he did last year. And I feel like the receiving capability, like he's one of the better receiving running backs in the league. And so I feel like I mean, he can really give you a lot of value in terms of at the running back position because you don't have to draft Chase Brown in the first 3 rounds. I mean, because from what I've seen in the last couple of years, he goes after the 3rd round, but he kind of still gives you good value at the running back position. Luther Burton is in an offense with I mean Ben Johnson, where I mean you could argue that he was the best wide receiver that they had last year. He was better than Rome. I mean his numbers were I think they were slightly better than DJ Moore. I mean I mean either slightly better or like they were almost the same. And I mean, Luther has big play potential as well. I mean, so I mean, I'm not saying he's got track speed, but like he has the ability to, I mean, once he catches the ball, I mean, he's really good once he catches it, and I mean, he's running with it. So I mean, he does give you that, and then I feel like him and Caleb have a good end rapport together. So I mean, Caleb is looking to get him the football, and you've seen that towards the end of the season going into the playoffs. Um, my rookie buy wasn't my first choice. But Zachariah Branch, like, so he was more like my second, third choice. And when I look at the offense that he's in, I mean, like he's in an offense where I mean the Falcons have, Bijan Robinson, they have London, they have Pitts. And so they needed a slot receiver. And so I feel like with the quarterbacks that they have, whether it's going to be Tua or it's going to be Michael Penix, he's going to be able to thrive in the slot. And I mean, he like as you've seen at Georgia and I mean in USC, he has the ability to catch the ball short. And he can get you like he can get you a lot of yak yards. And so especially if in a PPR league, I mean, I think he's going to get the opportunities to actually get the ball and I mean like get the receptions and the targets. I'm not saying he's going to get 10 targets a game because obviously like Drake London and Kyle Pitts are probably going to draw the majority of the targets, but I feel like in the slot he's going to get open a lot and he's going to get his fair share of targets there.
I like the reason I would put Luther Burden on my buyers list is because of the way the offensive coordinator and the head coach have kind of been speaking about what they want to do with Luther this year with DJ Moore being out of the offense, saying that he's going to have a breakout, he's going to have a bigger role. Like they're putting it out there already that he's going to be one of their go-to guys. So if they telling me that now, I believe that they are going to try to get him in more of those situations where he can get the ball in open field and make some plays. I agree with Jay Mick that he does have big play ability. If you can get him the ball, I do like what he can bring to that offense to add an extra oomph. I think DJ Moore leaving, I don't think it's always a negative that a player leaves a team. Sometimes it gives players that weren't able to have that opportunity. So I think Luther Burton definitely gets more opportunity this season. I would also have Luther Burton on my buyers list. With Chase Brown, the Bengals don't like to run the ball enough for me. So he would be a later buyer for me. I don't think I would get him earlier if I could pick other running backs, just because of how loosely the Bengals use their running game. I do really like Zachariah Branch going to the Falcons. I think he steps in a role that kind of has been a revolving door for them at slot. They've had a few different guys in that role over the past 4 or 5 seasons. I think you get a solidified guy in that role, and you can really kind of take off from there. Hopefully, him and Michael Penix or him and Tua find that bond, and you can see Zachariah Branch getting a lot of receptions in that short field.
Yeah, as far as Zachariah Branch goes, I think he's definitely an intriguing guy to watch. I don't know if I'm necessarily buying him in the draft though. I think he would be more of a waiver wire type of guy for me because I think that he'll be a guy where it takes a while for him to get into his role. And I think people that draft him might end up ditching him on the waiver wire in favor of somebody else if they're impatient. And I think I'll be able to pick him up there. But I do like his potential. Like he was the number one wide receiver coming out of high school. There's a reason for that, right? The speed he possesses, if he can just put it together, and I mean, in this system, to your point, he doesn't have to be a one, he doesn't have to be a two, he doesn't have to be a three. He's probably the fourth or fifth option at best. I do think that he can have a lot of success in that role because of the matchups that he'll be able to draw. So I am intrigued by Zachariah Branch. Luther Burden, yeah, with the departure of DJ Moore, you have an uptick in targets. I think Luther Burden will be a beneficiary of that, so I can see it. And Chase Brown, uh, I mean, depending on the round, I'm not mad at drafting Chase Brown. I don't think he's a guy I'm intentionally going out to get, but if I get him at a good value, I would be happy to take him for sure.
Yeah, I'm on a wait and see pattern with Zachariah Branch. I do understand the wide receiver lack of depth that the Falcons have. Um, I'm just unfamiliar with how that office is going to run right now. I don't know how that quarterback to OC pairing is going to work out, whoever ends up being the starter for the Falcons. So I'm going to fade him. He's not a buyer or seller for me. He's kind of like how I have Denzel Boston. He's a watch and see what happens guy. Um, so I'll see if like later on in the season, say like maybe week 4, week 5, I'm seeing he's producing well. I'll try to snatch him up if he's still available. I just there's too much of a question mark on that offense for me to feel comfortable um even stashing him on the bench when I know I'll have other wide receivers with higher value for me there. Luther Burton, I think that is a guy that if you're looking to grab him because I don't think he's gonna last long. When you're drafting him, I don't. This is not a guy you'll try to see if you can stash on the bench. Like the departures of DJ Moore, Alameda Zacchaeus, like he's, in my opinion, he is wide receiver 2 immediately, and I want to get that guy. Chase Brown, um, for me, it just depends on the scoring value in whatever league I'm drafting on. If it's not something that really prioritizes running backs, I'm gonna sit and wait. He's kind of in my tier 2 in evaluation for running backs for fantasy, but he does have really good upside with PPR value because he's really good catching the ball out of the backfield and making things happen with it.
Um,
I like Zachariah. I just I just I'm a little hesitant because of I'm not sure of the opportunities that he's going to get. Atlanta's 100% going to run the ball a lot, and then you have Drake London. They just paid Penix, not Penix. What's the boy name? The tight
they
end.
gave Tua like a 1 year deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kyle
they
Pitts.
Cal Pitts. They gave Cal Pitts this contract, and Stefanski has a tendency to target his tight ends. So I'm just like, you're like 4 as far as options. That's pretty low on a run first team. And third receiver option. I just don't. I feel like if he gets his opportunity, he will more than likely excel because of the talent that's around him. But how many options will he get is what gives me makes me hesitant to pick him as a buyer.
Yeah, and I'll just talk about my sellers real quick. Denzel Boston already talked about, so so I mean, we don't really got to go over that again. For me, Omarion Hampton, I liked him coming out of college, but then when I watched him last year, the games that he did play, he's a running back that likes to run to contact, and in fantasy, that kind of scares me a little bit. It scares me to the fact where what happened to him last year was he got hurt, which could happen again. Um, and I don't feel like he's got the best vision in the world. And I get it that, like a lot of people are buying high on him because the Chargers are going to get their 2 bookend tackles back. They're going to get Joe Alt at the right. and they're gonna get Rashad Slater at the left. And that should, like that should bode well for the running game. But I'm just like I've grown to know over time that, especially in fantasy, like running backs that run the contact, I would just prefer to stay away from those guys. Um, and then my other guy would be CJ Stroud. And I'm not so just because I'm selling on these guys doesn't mean I don't think they're going to have a good year. I just think the way I view a seller is that people view these players in a certain way and that they think they're going to do certain things. And I just don't agree. And I think everybody's thinking CJ Stroud he's going to his fourth year. Like they didn't give him an extension. They figure he has to have a good year. But in this league of the NFL, you don't have to do anything. So I mean, the contract that he's trying to get, he's gonna have to earn that because everybody remembers, like the last game that he played, because this is a what have you done for me lately league. And I just think the team that they're on, like they're gonna depend on the defense, like a lot of these games to win them these games. And in terms of quarterbacks, like he's not a running quarterback, number one, so you can't get points off of that. And I think the trade to get David Montgomery from the Lions signals that they want to run the football. They want to run the football more than they did last year. Because the whole thing with Joe Mixon last year kind of derailed their plan. So I mean, like you figure they have Montgomery, and then they also have the second year back that's coming back this year. I think his name is Woody, I believe.
Yeah, Woody Marks from USC.
Yeah, Woody Marks. So like that's going to be a nice combo in the backfield. So I just don't view I don't view CJ Stroud as being a top 10 fantasy quarterback. And so with all that being said, that's why I'm selling on CJ Stroud, because I just don't think the value is there. I mean, like even though he's going to get drafted low in fantasy drafts, because I don't see him getting drafted high. I'm just still going to sell on him because I just don't think he's not going to have a stellar season to me.
Marion Hampton, this is a guy I feel like he needs to get better with his vision. Like he's great catching the ball out of the backfield, but running the ball, I feel like he was very inconsistent in doing. And with the Chargers getting Keaton Mitchell in free agency, I think they have a really solid RB2 who can potentially become RB1 for them. They tried it last year with Najee Harris, but that injury where he blew up his eye during 4th of July weekend kind of derailed that. And they kind of relied on Kamani Vidal, who is still on the team, but that is not a guy you kind of want as your running back too. To me, he is kind of like a Kenneth Gainwell, Justice Hill type of running back. So Marion Hampton needs to get better. And CJ Stroud, this is a quarterback for me. That's a bench quarterback. After I draft my starter, I'm going to look to snatch him up, stash him on the bench, and swap him in either for my quarterback's bye week or if I like the matchup that the Texans may have. I think he could perform well against that. I'll probably swap him in as my starter, but he is not going to be a guy I'm looking at to kind of start at my quarterback position. His inconsistencies and honestly regression from his rookie year is very glaring to me. And with the Texans picking up his 5th-year option and not giving him an extension, this lets me know that they're going to see what he does this season to see if this is a guy they want to continue to buy into.
I'm buying CJ Stroud's NFL stock, but I'm selling his fantasy stock. I agree with y'all. I don't think he's going to be like a super valuable fantasy quarterback, but I do think that he's going to be good for the Texans this year. Omarion Hampton, similar. Like I think he could get better and improve, and as long as he's been putting the work in, I think we'll see a better back this year. But we're talking about a guy that's being drafted in the mid to late 2nd round right now on Sleeper. I don't feel comfortable with taking Omarion Hampton anywhere near the 2nd round as of right now. So, yeah, I agree. I'm selling Omarion Hampton.
We talk about CJ Stroud. I've never had him in fantasy, to be honest. He's not one of the quarterbacks I really look at. And with the performance he's put up over the past few. I don't know if I would be buying him this year either. I kind of agree that it is a contract year, so you usually get the outlander season from people. But I don't know, man. I don't trust their O line. I do think they have a good slate of skilled players on that offense for CJ Stroud to be able to capitalize. But at times, it just looks like he's detached from what's going on, and I don't know how that offense is going to work this season. I do think somebody said it earlier. David Montgomery coming in tells me you want to run the ball at a higher clip. So I think that's going to be one of the factors going into this season that may take away from CJ Stroud's game. So I would agree with Amari and Hampton though. I don't know, man. Like I do like him. I don't think he's early round pick, but I would take him in the fourth. You know what I mean? I would take a flyer on him fourth and lower, but I don't know. I think that offensive line last year played a nice part of him not being as productive. I would like to see what it looks like when they're fully healthy and they're playing together. So I'm in between on Amari and Hampton. I would take him, but I just don't know uh, at what point is it a safe pick. I would say after the fourth round, though, in my opinion. Is that all for the buyers and sellers for this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. I'll go next. I don't mind. Shit. All right. All right. So for my buyers, my first buyer was Jalen Waddle, man. Obviously moving on from the Dolphins, going to a team that really needs some offensive help at the receiver position, needs somebody that can create some explosive plays on a regular basis. I do like, the previous receiver, but he wasn't really an explosive play guy like that on a regular basis. I think Jalen Waddle coming gives them a different aspect that they didn't have on that offense, and I think they're gonna use him in a very, very high demand role. He's gonna get the touches. He's gonna get the yards. Uh, I think he's gonna be a very pivotal part of the Broncos' passing game. So I think Jalen Waddle. I don't know if he will have his best numbers as a receiver. I think he will have really, really good numbers as a receiver. So I'm buying in on Jalen Waddle. My second one is Devin Achane. I really like Achane. He is a do-it-all back. Run the ball, receive, and he's decent when it comes to pass blocking. So I think he will be on the field a lot. I think he will get a lot of touches, a lot of touches in the receiving and the running game. Um, Last year, obviously he was the same role. I think it's going to be even more pivotal this year with Waddle and Tyreek and Tua all being out of the building, giving him a chance to kind of show what he got with Malik Willis. With an opportunity like this, I think Malik Willis will use Devin Achane in a lot of times. You know what I mean? I think he will be moved outside. He will be doing a lot of the dirty work and getting a lot of those yards and touchdowns. For my rookie, I don't know if he will be the starter, but I think he will be a definitely dynamic duo with the running back that's already in Arizona. I think he will get some of those touches and things, and I do believe at some point this season you could see Jeremiah Love take over the load in Arizona and be the guy. I like him because he's like, to me, he's a do-it-all back. Receiving game, running game, you can get him involved in the offense in a multitude of ways. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of packages where they have double running backs on the field and Jeremiah Love is the receiving threat or the running threat. So I do like what Jeremiah Love brings to the table for the Cardinals.
Jeremiah Love was also cross-trained in the slot at Notre Dame, so that supports your point. And Jeremiah Love, man, like if he's not the starter going into the season, He's going to be getting starter touches, I feel like, in every game. I mean, they took him way too early for them not to use him. You got James Conner and Algier in the room, yeah, but neither one of those guys should be keeping Jeremiah Love off the field. Like James Conner, he could be a short yardage back. Algier could maybe be a change of pace, but Jeremiah Love should be the number one in this offense as far as
They
running
don't
backs go, and the receiving ability too.
don't forget about Trey Benson. He was averaging 5.5 yards a carry before he got hurt. He comes back too, so
Yeah,
it, they're gonna be running the ball. But I agree. I think he's gonna get his opportunities.
yeah, nah. That and A Chain, I think the same. The A Chain's going to get his touches. A lot of that offense is probably going to go through A Chain this year. And Waddle, I think you put him in Sean Payton's offense. You see what he paid to get him over there as far as draft capital. I think he views Jalen Waddle as a wide receiver one in his system, and I agree with him. So Jalen Waddle is definitely a buyer for me.
I'm not a fan of the A chain thing.
No,
Okay. Yeah, they got a first time starter in Malik Willis. Now he's started games, but he's never been the starter. All right. They completely um destroyed that offensive line and pretty much try to rebuild it through the draft. They don't have any weapons on the outside. I think they're going to run him into the ground this season, and he's going to be facing a lot of loaded boxes. I'm not saying that he won't be productive, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of A Chain. With the weapons around him and that offensive line, and who's going to be on the center. And they also have a first time head coach and play caller. Well, not play caller, but head coach. I don't know, man. It's a lot.
But
nah,
like,
that's a good point.
so for me, I was gonna put Devin 18 on my bias list, and to me, the points you said coming from a fantasy perspective, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear that they don't have any weapons on the outside. That like the quarterback, we don't know what the quarterback is because that pretty much guarantees me that Devin H ain't gonna get he gonna get the 20, 30 touches he needs a game to transform that into something good from a fantasy perspective. I mean, for me, like the only new piece on the offensive line is Proctor. The not Proctor, but yeah, I think his name is Proctor.
Yeah,
Is
Proctor.
Big Crispy.
yeah, is Caden Proctor. Like, he's the only new piece on that offensive line. They pretty much. I mean, Patrick Paul. They drafted him 2 years ago. I mean, Austin Jackson. Say what you will about him. He's coming back. He just gets hurt a lot. I mean, Aaron Brewer was. I mean, people put him in as a
I,
top 10 center last year. So
I
I
thought
mean,
they took two linemen back to
it's
back.
they might have took two linemen, but the other lineman, like the right guard, they drafted last year, Jonah Sonavia, I think his name is. But I mean, he wasn't that good last year. So,
Okay.
but I mean, for the most part, like three out of the five guys on the line are coming back, and they're pretty good. Um, so I mean that's why I like Devin H because I know he's gonna get the touches. Like, I mean, like they signed Jalen Tolbert from the Cowboys. I mean, they drafted Malik Washington, and then I think they signed Tutu Atwell as well. So it's like they don't, and they drafted two wide receivers as well. They drafted Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas. So they have those guys. But I mean, for me, that's why I mean, H because like I said, I know he's gonna get the touches. Um, Jeremiah Love, I think he might be in the Genty situation like last year. Like, I don't know how good the lines are gonna be. And so that Jeremiah's a very explosive back. So I mean, I mean, he can make stuff out of nothing. So he has that capability. He's like someone I forgot who said it, but he got drafted third overall. I don't see him not starting the season as a starting running back. I mean, I don't think he's going to touch the ball 40 times a game because of the guys that he's got with him in that running back room. I mean, from like Connor to Algier. So I mean, those guys are going to get some touches so they don't wear Jeremiah Love out. But Jeremiah Love can be used in the backfield, but he can also be used as a wide receiver too. So that just gives some extra value. Jalen Waddle, he wasn't on my buy list. He wasn't on my sell list either. I got to see how they're gonna run that offense. I mean, with him on the team, and if they're gonna try to give him the get the ball in, Waddle's hands, short to intermediate, and if they do that, I mean, he could have a blow up season.
It wasn't Miami that took back to back O linemen. I got to
Okay.
mix it up with somebody else.
But I think they took a lineman somewhere in that draft, though.
Yeah, they took another one.
DJ Campbell from Texas. They took him in the 6th.
Okay.
Which he could be. I mean, he could be a guy. Maybe I don't know if it'll be year one. Like he could surprise people, but I think going into next year, if they're still having some deficiencies on that O line at the guard position, he could still be a guy that maybe does crack the starting lineup eventually.
Yeah,
DJ Campbell has some talent.
yeah. I mean, because I think Jonah, the funny story about Jonah was we were going to draft Jonah last year in the 2nd round, and the Dolphins traded up right in front of us to take him. And then he proceeded to have a terrible rookie season. And I mean, he was one of the worst graded guards in the league last year. So they're really hoping that with the new system that they're trying to run, and that he just has a bounce back year. But if not, like Dre said, like if he has another bad year, then they could look to DJ Campbell either later in the season or next year to take that right guard spot.
Man, during this conversation, I came up with another guy I'm buying, but I'll say that to the end. We'll see. Honorable mention.
All right. So, Pop, did you want to touch on the buyers?
Waddle, I like his potential in the offense. The Broncos want to run. They like to really spread the ball around. And I think Waddle kind of solidifies the position that they've been looking to have solidified with some of the draft picks that they've made over the last few years. And I think he immediately slides into that slot for them. A-Chain, listen, he is the only person I know in this offense that is going to consistently get the ball outside of the quarterback. So this is a guy I will probably try to grab early just because I know with the amount of touches they will get, that production will be there. Even if it's slowly accruing throughout of a game, you're going to get that production from them. And Jeremiah Love, he was drafted, what, 4th overall? Something like that. Like, yeah, he is the starter. You don't draft a guy like that and try to stash him behind James Conner and Algier. No, he is going to be running back on one for the Cardinals. And he's again in a situation where it's a little shaky with how that team's going to perform. I don't know if they're solidified with Brissett being the starter at quarterback. I know that little hiccup they had in earlier during the off-season period in regards to him wanting more money, and I believe they brought in Minshew as well. So I'm not sure about the quarterback position, but I know they will want to run the ball, and Jeremiah Love is going to get them touches, and he has really good high value for me in fantasy.
All right, for my sellers, I got Justin Jefferson first. I just think when you look at the situation last year, his struggles with inconsistent quarterback play, I think it's just one of those where I got to see better quarterback play out of the Vikings that can get him to rock on a consistent basis because last year was a real struggle. And I don't know where he goes from here. Kyler Murray, yes, is a deep bomb threat, but I don't like his inconsistency at quarterback. So I'm not sure if what we see out of that. So I do got Justin Jefferson on my sellers. Second, I have Saquon Barkley. I just don't know what his role in is going to be in my offense this year. I think he's going to get touches, but I think it's going to be a split running back system this year with Tate Bigsby taking some of those carries, some of those touches in the pass game. I just think where he was before, people taking him early, I think it would be safe if you took him later in the draft. Fernando Mendoza, I just don't know if he's going to if he's gonna play enough games for me to pick him up. I don't know when Kurt is gonna get the ultimate death note. And he get put on the bench, and then Fernando steps in. It could be really late in the season, depending on how Kurt is playing. So I don't really want to take him as far as in the draft. I would prefer if I see him becoming the starter, taking him in more of a waiver situation, because I don't think he's going to play in the first 7 to 10 games. So that's why I have Fernando Mendoza as a seller.
I agree with the Mendoza part. Depending on how the season start, man, Kurt is going to do everything he can to keep Buddy on the sideline. We all know that. But as far as the Jefferson and Barkley, man, I'm completely opposite, bro. I just feel like um, Minnesota's running back room looks light, and hot TJ Hawkinson. I know I probably pronounced that wrong. He hasn't looked like himself in years. I think that Jefferson is going to get more than his fair share of opportunity, regardless of who's at quarterback. For the most part, I feel like I could see the boy's face. I don't know why I always had this brain fog when with the white quarterback in Minnesota, not Kyler.
JJ.
Yeah, JJ. For the most part, man, he gets the ball to Jettis. So he's the second highest paid wide receiver in the league. I think he's gonna get his touches. And Barkley with AJ out of the picture, I really think that the Eagles are gonna lean on him even more. So, and until they can find out for sure if Smitty is going to be their number one, um, they got Makai Lemon coming in, the rookie. They got to figure out how to work him into the offense. The only consistent thing is, the MVP candidate, not, but what, 2 years ago. Saquon Barkley. I think he gonna get his touches, man. In the backfield and rolling out of the backfield.
I disagree with Justin Jefferson. I think the Vikings are on the verge. If he feels like the quarterback situation isn't better this year, I think he's gonna ask for a trade after this year. To be honest with you, so I
Good luck
think,
with that.
yeah, like I just think like with them signing Kyler Murray, like I think Kyler's gonna try to get him the ball. I mean, I assume Kyler's gonna be the starting quarterback. I don't foresee a world where they're gonna go with JJ again, because if they were gonna go with JJ, they would have never signed Kyler in the first place. That like they would have signed the lesser backup, and they would have solidified JJ in his role, which they didn't, in which JJ for the most part hasn't been what they drafted. Like they drafted him in the top 10. I mean, I don't think he's lived up to that. So I think that's why they went with Kyler, and they're hoping that Kyler can kind of steady the ship on offense and kind of give them a threat behind the center to actually get Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson the ball.
Real quick, can I ask both of y'all a question?
Yep.
Sure.
Kyler Murray was in Arizona. His best receiving target did what?
McBride, he excelled.
Did he? Or did he
No,
excel under another quarterback?
Kyler in his first couple of years, his best receiver was, what's his name?
Wilson?
No, it was D Hop.
Oh, D Hop.
Years. And D Hop didn't have bad seasons his first couple of years. Yeah, we had the whole steroid.
I was more going off the more recent.
Like Trey McBride, Trey didn't have the touchdowns, but Trey still had a lot of yards. So the only thing is Hawkinson gives you nothing after the catch. Like he's gonna catch the ball, but then he's going down right after. He's not giving you nothing after that. So
you said DeAndre Hopkins didn't struggle with Kyler?
I said his first couple of years, I think D-Hop had a really good year. And like the first
he had one good season with Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. You could correct me if I'm wrong. I think the other two were like 1,200 or 1,300 yards combined seasons?
Well, like the other season was when he got popped for steroids or HGH or whatever it was. He got popped for 6 games.
That was 2021?
I think that was 22 or 23, I think. Can't remember the year. I mean, because I remember that season where we had played them, and that was one of his first games back, and that's where Kyler had tore his ACL in that game. I think that was 23, I want to say. But I don't know. I mean, to me, Justin Jefferson is the second best receiver in the league. He just needs an adequate quarterback just to be able to get the ball in, in catchable places. As long as he can get the ball where he can go up there and get it, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Looking at Jettas, I think Jettas is going to have a good season because I think Kyler Murray could have a good season. This is kind of, I don't want to say too much right now because I have to look into it a little more, but look at all these other quarterbacks that go from one place to another that are just discarded and they're just thrown away by these other teams. They go somewhere else and they have a revival to their career, right? They're put in a better environment. They get better coaching. There's so many factors that go into a guy's play. And I think that Kyler actually could have a good season under KOC out there with the Vikings. And because of that, I think Jettas is going to have a really good season. And I agree with Certified on the Saquon thing. I think Saquon's going to have a big season because I think you're going to rely on him heavily. And Mendoza, I'm not really buying or selling Mendoza. Like, if anybody is buying Mendoza, unless it's, well, hold on. If we're talking about dynasty, I would buy Mendoza. I would buy Mendoza in a dynasty league, but not in a redraft. Redrafts, it's just, you alluded to it. You have Kirk Cousins in front of him. He's going to play too many games. I'm selling. Well, I'm not even thinking about drafting Fernando Mendoza, honestly.
Yeah, Fernando Mendoza is not even on my draft mind. I'm not even looking for him on a waiver wire if I'm in a redraft league. The only way I'm really looking at him is if I'm maybe in quarterback. I may need a quarterback. For whatever reason, consider like maybe if my starter gets hurt and he has been put as the starter of the Raiders, at that point I might take him for like a short period of time, but he's not a guy I'm really looking at to contribute to my fantasy team this season. Saquon, I think he'll have a bounce back year. Um, I don't think you can get any worse than how the run game was last season, but we'll see. But I do think he holds high value still in that top tier running backs in fantasy. And in my opinion, until they state JJ's the starter, if Kyler is the starter with Minnesota, I think Jettas will have a pretty decent season. I think he's just gonna take it game by game this year because to the point Jay Mick said, I think he might ask for a trade if shit don't go right this year. I don't think he's gonna want to waste any more of his time with a team that is potentially gonna. Well, they are still rebuilding, and I don't think he wants to sit through that. I think he wants to go to a team where he feels like he'll get his, but also be competitive as well. Um, so if Kyler is going to be the starter for the Vikings going into the year, I do like Jettas. I'm not gonna probably take him in like the first round, but if I could get him in round 2, I'll definitely take a swing at him.
Oh yeah. I forgot to touch on Saquon too. I mean, Saquon, I'm not sure I would sell him. I'm more concerned about the offensive line because the offensive line, wasn't the best last year, whether that was due to injury or other reasons. So for me on Saquon, I'm more like a wait and see. To kind of see how that goes. I mean, with the departure of AJ Brown,
I mean, that's kind of makes a difference. But I think Smitty's going to pick up where like AJ left off. So, and I mean, like I think Smitty can have a real blow up year because I
I
mean,
mean, my
just
offensive coordinator, the only reason I got him on here, right? My offensive coordinator has made a big statement that he wants a two running back system. We got Tate Bigsby as the backup, right? I just don't know if he's going to get the carries that solidifies him as a 15, 1600 yard back with a lot of touches. I just don't see it. I think he's going to be 12 to
yeah,
13, maybe 100 yards
yeah.
with
But a
limited
lot of
amount of touches.
teams. But the thing is, a lot of teams. I mean, like the Lions are running that two running back system, and I mean, like Gibbs still had great. See, just because you run a two running back system, don't mean that you can't still have blow up numbers. I mean, if he breaks off long runs and stuff, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not buying him, and I'm not selling him. Like, he's right in the middle for me. I got to kind of wait and see how it goes. But if Saquon was, if I had a second round pick and Saquon was there, I would take him. Like, I wouldn't have no problems taking him in the second round. Um,
Also,
and then like Fernando Mendoza, I don't know what to make of that situation because I don't love what the Raiders have on the at wide receivers. I mean, like like Genty and the tight end Bowers, like I think they're going to be really good, but like we don't even know if he's going to start off playing this season or not. So I mean, but I mean, I can see why you would sell him because I just don't think the outlook is that good for him.
Who's next on this list? I think it's certified. Certified.
Is there? All right. So first up, we have the living legend, Michael Evans. I feel like he has been a consistent producer, regardless of the OC, regardless of the system, regardless of the quarterback. And now he's going into a system that favors an X. He is a true X. The last time that Shanahan had a true X was Julio Jones, and before that it was Andre Johnson. Not saying that he's those type of guys, but he's going to most definitely get his opportunities with the healthy offensive line and CMC. Also, they brought in Christian Kirk, and there's going to be Ricky Parasol. Um, he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and I think that he's going to definitely get upwards of somewhere between I'll say 105 and 115 targets. Now Brock Bowers, man, he gets the new OC, and he's locked down a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback in Kirk Cousins. He is their best offensive option, and I 100% Clint Kubiak is going to use him to the best of his ability. We watched the whole season of them spamming JSN. He had like almost 50 more targets than the next person on the team. A healthy Brock Bowers with an improved offensive line, a great offensive mind calling the plays, and a legit starting quarterback in the National Football League. I think that Brock Bowers is going to have an awesome season. I already talked about Denzel Boston when we first opened up. I forgot who we did first, but um, I just feel like from what I've seen in the mini camps, he has stepped up and I don't feel like I don't see any reason why he would take a step back from being the first option. Um, now they do have Junkins, and um, they let go in Joku, and I forgot the tight end, but wow,
Fannin Jr.
Fanning, yeah, Fanning. Um, I do believe that he would get his targets too, but they drafted Boston in the first round for a reason. And I think that given the opportunity, I think he's gonna lead the wide receivers in targets. Now Sam Darnold, I feel like this is self-explanatory. They won the Super Bowl, but he personally did not have a good season. Even with a great offensive mind in Clint Kubiak. Uh, I mean, did I say offensive line or mine? Anyway, and a good offensive line, great running game. He still led the league in turnovers. He was third in interceptions, and the Seattle Seahawks threw the third least passes in the league. Um, I, I I just don't see how um, he didn't have a, in my opinion, he didn't have a good season last year. I don't see him having a uh, doing any better with a first time play caller. I forgot, I don't know the guy's name, but I know that they hired San Francisco old tight ends coach to be their offensive coordinator, but he's never been a coordinator on any level. So we'll see how that go. Plus, they don't have Kenneth Walker, their RB1 workhorse. Um, Penix, um, in this system, man, I believe in Tua, man. I do. I think Tua gonna take it. I do believe that Atlanta is going to give him every opportunity to be the starter because they invested a first round pick in him. But I think I really do believe Tua is going to beat him out. And then Stribling, the complete opposite with Mike Evans. I think he's just going to get buried on a depth chart. Um, uh, it's a run first team. You got CMC. They got a bunch of guys behind him that they're going to give opportunity to. Then you already have Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and Ricky Pearsall ahead of you. Uh, Kyle Shanahan doesn't typically even play rookie wide receivers, so I just don't think that he's going to get the opportunity to do anything.
When it comes to Mike Evans, man, obviously Mr. Consistent. Uh, I don't know how high we buy him, but I would definitely have him somewhere in my early rounds as one of those guys that can get it done. Uh, no question about it. He's I mean he has a reputation. He has a resume. 1,000 yards. I don't know how many touchdowns you're really gonna get out of him. I think George Kittle is very much a great red zone threat when it comes to that. But I do think he's gonna get the touches. He's gonna get the targets. So I definitely have Mike Evans on that list. Brock Bowers, my favorite tight end right now. Mr. Do It All. I don't like what they have as far as around the roster, but when it comes to Brock Bowers, I think he's dynamic. He can do the list front to back. You know what I mean? He's a decent blocker. He definitely can catch. I mean, if you wanted to put him in line or outside, I think he can have the same impact no matter where he's at on the field. We already talked about Denzel Boston. With Sam Darnold, I don't know what he has coming in. How's that OC gonna work out? How's the new system gonna play as far as for Sam Darnold? I know a lot of people like what he's done over the past 2 seasons, but if you want to be technical, both of those systems were similar. Um, but he has the opportunity to still bounce back. So I, I want to see what is at. Michael Penix, the only reason I am selling is the extra injury. He already has an extensive injury history. Getting this extra injury doesn't um, work in your favor. I think with Tua, being in camp and doing all the things to try to solidify that spot as a starter coming from Miami. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Michael Penix. And it's a wait and see for me with Design Stribling. If he can solidify himself as one of those receivers that gets, that can make a situation better for himself, he will get opportunities with Shanahan. But right now, like Certified said, there is a lot of guys in front of him. So camp is going to be very pitiful for this Design Stribling to make an impact and move up as far as favorite targets for Michael Shanahan and see what he can get.
For me, I think Mike Evans has a real chance to solidify himself in that offense. especially with the Kittle injury, because we don't know if Kittle is going to be starting come week 1. I mean, like, there's been rumors out there that he might be ready or that they might put him on PUP. So, but I think if Kittle does go on PUP, it's going to give Mike a chance to really, solidify himself in that offense the first couple of weeks. That if Kittle's not there, and I mean, it's Mike Evans. I mean, he's Mr. 1000. So, I mean, he's going to a team that's, I don't want to say better, but I mean, like the 49ers, but they've
You can say that. Go ahead.
They have a solid quarterback. They have CMC, which a lot of teams got to worry about. And so in the pecking order wide receivers, I mean, to me, he goes straight to the head of the line of pecking order wide receivers. So he should have a really good year. Brock Bowers, Mr. Do It All. I mean, he showed you what he was an All-Pro his rookie season. And he was fighting through a couple injuries last year. So, so he kind of had I don't want to say a fall off, but I mean, he didn't have as good of a season due to the injuries. I expect him to bounce back, and with Kirk Cousins or Mendoza, I expect his numbers to be right back up there. Denzel, we talked about. Sam Darnold, he's a funny case for me, man, because the last 2 seasons he's had, number-wise, he's had good seasons in terms of the numbers and fantasy or whatever. I'm not really buying on Sam. I'm not really selling on Sam because I just don't know, because like they got a new OC, QBX not there, so I'm kind of interested to see how it looks. Sam Darnold would be a guy I'd either have as my second quarterback in fantasy or a guy that I'd be watching. I think in redraft leagues, your traditional drafts, I believe he's gonna get drafted. Probably not early, but it's gonna be late. So I would just want to see how that whole offensive system works out, because I don't think the system is going to be the same. And then also what somebody said, I forgot who said it, but like his main running back left and went to the Chiefs. But they did draft the other running back out of Notre Dame. I think his name is Price. Was it Jadarian Price?
How y'all feel about Price?
No,
How you feel about Price?
People are really hyped up on Price. I'm not sure. I get it. He was behind Jeremiah Love. I've heard some people think that he's going to step in and, from day one to be the guy. But my only issue was he wasn't the guy. Obviously, he wasn't the guy at Notre Dame because of Jeremiah Love. So I don't feel strongly that Jadarian Price is going to be worth what it. Like, I think Jadarian should have went later. But they saw an opportunity to get him, and they took him where they could get him.
So if you had to give him a comp,
Jadarian Price?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm not even sure who I comp him to that's in the league right now. I'd have to come back to you on that one. Penix, I mean, I agree with what's been said. I think whenever you have, it's like the JJ situation. He's been injured a lot too, and whenever you bring in another experienced quarterback, and you got a whole new system, the coach is not beholden to Michael Penix.
Uh-huh.
So if Tua's playing well in the preseason, I think Tua gets the job, and therefore I don't think Michael Penix has a good season if he doesn't start, obviously. And Stribling, I like Stribling. Stribling was a really good player in college, but it's what certified and everybody else been saying. The 49ers have a lot of wide receivers on that team. And so he'd have to beat out a lot of wide receivers just to get on the field. And so I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that. So that's probably why I would sell on Stribling, but I like Stribling as a player.
Yeah, I think with Mike Evans, I think y'all covered it for the most part. I think he will be very productive. I think he could have a really big season. And we're talking about a guy being drafted in the 5th round right now. I'm definitely buying that. Brock Bowers is interesting. Brock Bowers could present a real positional edge on a weekly basis for you, right? Because how many other tight ends are going to be as productive as Brock Bowers when healthy? Probably none. All right, so going into that week, you have an advantage because Brock Bowers, he'll put up wide receiver numbers potentially from the tight end position, especially in ADP formats. I mean, in PPR formats, I think he will be a matchup advantage on a weekly basis. So I'm definitely buying Brock Bowers in the end of the second round, early third round. Um, we talked about Boston earlier. Darnold, yeah, good player. I just don't think there's a lot of fantasy upside there with Sam Darnold on a weekly basis. He might be a guy that me, for example, I don't like to take two quarterbacks in drafts, so I like to go get that other quarterback off the wire. If he's sitting out there, he might be a guy I pick up for a spot matchup or something like that. Um, Penix, I was just having a conversation with my co-host on Gridiron Views the other day, Rashay, about him because he is a Falcons fan, and it just seems like all the cards are stacked up against him, and it seems like Tua is going to win that job. So yeah, I would sell Penix too, even though I was super super high on Penix coming out of college, and I do think he has talent. If you can't stay healthy and you get passed up, I mean that's just the business of sports. And Deshaun Stribling, I'm gonna lean on certified there. Yeah, I think he made some good, compelling points about Deshaun Stribling while he was selling. So I just agree there.
Oh, and certified, I thought about it. So a good comp that I would give to Darian Price, a lot of people might not agree with it, but I'd probably say Sony Michelle. Like they were drafted in similar positions. They could do similar things. I think he's a little bit more explosive than Sony Michelle was, but I do like that comp actually.
Pop, if you want to touch on the buyers and sellers for certified list before we move on.
For his sellers, I think there's everything that needs to be said has been said. But his sellers, I think for me, when I'm looking at Stribling and I'm looking at the wide receivers the 49ers have on that team, I just don't see how he can even track higher than maybe 4 or 5 on that depth. I'm thinking about all the other pass catchers you add into that with the tight ends and the running backs. He just doesn't rate that high for me with fantasy value, just because I feel like there'll be other names there if I'm looking to either add to my bench or even look on the waiver that I'm looking at before I even get to him. Penix, unless this is a 3 quarterback league, I'm not really looking to draft him and redraft. Um, he's just too much unknown just in regards to his status to start the season. And then even if he does get cleared to play sometime down the line, how well is Tua performing that he's gonna get slid back in? There's just way too much unknown that's going on for him with the Falcons right now. I'm just kind of looking to stay away from. And Sam Darnold, I think the best part of that offense left and became the head coach of the Raiders. Um, and I think with that, I don't know if who they brought in is going to be as good as Clint or even KOC, who Sam Darnold was under with the Vikings, who I feel runs a offensive system where as long as you're a competent quarterback, you can thrive in it with Minnesota. So I don't know what if we're gonna get the Sam Darnold of old, um, or has he at least became a really good middle quarterback? I don't know. So I'm kind of selling him to just too much. It's just too much between the new OC and his production with Seattle that I just don't feel comfortable with.
And you still up, Pop?
Hey man, Bijan Robinson has been the best, one of the best, because there's a couple of other running backs, best producing running back in any fantasy league. He is definitely a high sell, high boom. This is a guy who's probably not going to even last the first 5 picks in a fantasy draft. Um, he just has it all. He's great coming out of the backfield. can run the ball effectively. Like he gives you everything you're looking for in a fantasy running back. And I know he is going to get those touches because they are going to run the ball. So to me, this is a guy, if you're in the first five picks in the league, I'm snatching up because if you're trying to wait for him in the back end, that first round, he ain't going to be there. Loveland, why is he in a Lions uniform?
I think that was on me. On me.
I just
For
peeped.
some reason, I put Lions as his team, and I'm like, then he's a Bear as I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, Jay. But yeah, Colson Loveland, he kind of came on last year and took over that tight end one position for the Bears. And I think with him being the bona fide starter coming into the season, he's gonna have even better production. And like DJ Moore leaving, like to me, it's Rome him than Luther Burton. That's just how I'm thinking about it in regards to target share and potential production. Jordan Tyson, this is the guy I'm looking at that could potentially become wide receiver two. That has the potential to become wide receiver two. Um, I think a lot of people have him as that right now. I personally don't because I'm looking at Vele, who became a favorite for Chuck this season. You really saw when Vele came into the games that connection that they had. So I think Vele still is like wide receiver two, but with with Kellen Moore liking to throw the ball around, Tyson is going to get his touches. He's going to get his catches. He will get his target. So this is a guy I am looking to buy. Maybe not that high, but like say maybe around 8 or 9 in the fantasy draft. I'm looking at snatch this guy up. Brees Hall, I'm selling on. I don't know what's going on with that Jets team. I know he is going to get his touches, but me personally, I'm staying away from any Jets player that's in fantasy. I'd rather them make me eat my words than me taking a risk on them. Xavier Worthy, he's kind of the guy I thought he was in college, and it's that I didn't really see much progression out of him last year, and I really don't expect anything different. And then with them bringing in Bienemy, I know a lot of their focus is going to be on running the ball. Yes, they will pass the ball. I'm just not going to be a buyer of Xavier Worthy in a redraft fantasy league this year. In KC Consumption, I wasn't a big fan of him coming out of college. I do not like guys who have inconsistent hands and tend to body catch either. So even with the lack of weapons the Browns have, I'm just looking at where he potentially will fall in the target share line, and it's not that high enough for me that I'm willing to take a flyer on him. He's a guy I'll probably snatch up on the waiver wire or just we'll just look to see how he's performing. Maybe I will eventually get him, but I don't know. He's probably a guy I'll just probably stay away from altogether in fantasy this season. I'm just not high on not only him but also that team as a whole. There's a lot of new, and I just don't know how that's going to work out throughout the course of the season.
See, I don't know if I'm buying Bijan, not because I don't think he's going to be productive, but unless I absolutely have to pick one, if I can like figure out because some redraft leagues you can trade picks still. If there's a possibility, trade your pick. I'm not taking Bijan at 1-1. I just don't feel comfortable with doing it. I hate picking there. I feel like every time I pick there, it's the same story. I take a guy, he gets hurt, and then my season is cooked. And the other way around, if I don't take the guy and I fade him, he has a great season. So I guess it's a good sign for you that I'm not super high on Bijan stock this year. Colston Loveland, I'm not buying Colston Loveland. I think he's going too early. He's going in the third, fourth round right now. I think in that offense, there's still a lot of weapons that could get a lot of touches, and I just don't know that he's going to have the guaranteed advantage production wise at tight end that I need at that position if I'm taking him that early in the draft. And Jordan Tyson, I'm fading too. I don't like Jordan Tyson as the receiver I would take in that tier of receivers that are being drafted around that area. You're talking about Carnell Tate, Christian Watson, Romo Denze, Brian Thomas. I would take him over Brian Thomas. I would take Rome over him. I would take Christian Watson, and I would take Carnell Tate. So I'm not necessarily buying him at the value that he's at now. If I can pick him up later because he falls a little bit, yes, I would buy him, but not in the 6th, 7th round. The other side, Brees Hall. Brees Hall is going late 2nd, early 3rd. I probably wouldn't take him right there either. So I agree. I would sell him as of right now there. I think there's better players I can get around that spot that are maybe going to be more productive for me this season. Xavier Worthy's interesting because he's going in like the 9th round, 9th, 10th round, around then. I could actually see him being a value around that spot. He is a boom or bust type of guy, but he can add some, like if you put him on your bench, he can add some valuable weeks for you in a reduced role, kind of as a spot player for you. And KC, I actually am high on KC. I think KC is going to end up being, at least for PPR, one of the more productive rookie receivers. I think he's going to get a lot of catches. I know he's been struggling. A lot of receivers struggle early on in OTAs and camp, and then they get to the season and they're fine. I expect KC to be fine. I expect him to be very, very productive. So I'm buying KC.
I agree with everything here. You know, I think Bijan gonna get the touches. I think Coast and Loveland. I don't know why he got a Lions uniform on, but him and come on, man, what is going on? Caleb Williams. They definitely linked in. I feel like Jordan Tyson. I feel like Jordan Tyson. He gonna get his touches, and Brees Hall. It's a uphill battle for everybody over there in New York. Xavier Worthy. I just feel like the clock is just running out on him in KC. He's been reliable, but he hasn't come close to what they needed him to be. And KC, man, just from what I've seen, it's just been more of the same of what he was in Texas, man, up and down, consistent hands, body catcher, you know. So I agree with both lists from Pop.
Real quick, Country Boy, I see you commented, you asked if we do team reviews for redraft. If you follow the checkdown _ NFL on Twitter and you DM us or tag us in a post, we'll review it at the beginning of next episode if you want.
When I look at Pop's list, I think you have to kind of buy Bijan because the amount of volume that he's gonna get with Stefanski, because I mean Stefanski's gonna want to run the ball. And I don't think like the prior coaching staff is not, I don't think they're gonna treat him like, you know, Bijan like they treated him last year where they would take him out of games because they had Algier. Algier's gone. So I think he's gonna get the volume. And I think if you don't draft Bijan with pick 1 or 2, you're not gonna get him. I think he goes that high. I think he goes 1 or 2. So I'll definitely buy him because I just, like I said, I think he's gonna get the volume. I mean, he's gonna put up the yards. I mean, he can run it, he can catch it. I mean, he can pretty much do it all. So I like that. Colson Loveland, I was actually thinking about putting him on my list.
I actually love Coastal Loveland. Like in that draft last year, I liked him over the kid that the Colts drafted in the first round. Like, I thought he was my tight end one last year. And what Certified said, him and Caleb clicked up in the playoffs. The numbers he was putting up in the playoffs was insane. And so I just think that connection is going to continue. Like I think he's going to take over the tight end one position on that team over Cole Kmet. It doesn't seem like Caleb loves to throw Cole the ball that much. And so I think when the ball does go to the tight ends, I think Colts is going to get the ball. Even though they have a good amount of weapons. So I actually love Colts and Loveland. Jordan Tyson, I wanted to put him on my list as well. Like I love Jordan Tyson going into the draft. My only issue with him is the injuries. If he can stay healthy, and I think him and Chris Olave is going to be a good 1-2 punch. I mean, now, whoever you want to put number one, that's up to you. I probably put Olave 1 and him 2. But for me, it's just all about his health. If he stays healthy, I think he can be a tremendous talent in the NFL. Now, Brees Hall, I don't agree with. I feel as if the Jets at the quarterback position aren't really strong with, Geno Smith. If Geno was like he was with the Raiders, then that's not a good situation. They got a bunch of young weapons. They have one certified wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. So he's certified as long as he stays healthy. He's gonna give you 1,000. And he's done that every year with bad quarterbacks. So I expect him to do that again. But Brees Hall is their number one running back. I feel like he's gonna get the touches. He just got a new contract. I think it was a 3-year deal. So I feel like he's motivated to prove that he got paid. I wouldn't say put him as a top buyer of mine, but I do feel like he's going to have a good season. Xavier Worthy, definitely selling on him. I looked at him going into the draft. I feel like the only reason why he went as high as he did was because he ran that fast 40 time. They were trying to tell me he's a number one wide receiver. I vehemently don't agree with that. And to this day, I still don't agree with that. I think he's like a wide receiver 3 or 4. And with the possibility of Patrick Mahomes not starting the season, that doesn't help his value either. If Pat is on the pup and misses 4 or 5 games, that just makes his value even worse to me. And even when Pat was in the game at times last year, he wasn't really producing. So I'm definitely selling on Xavier Worthy. And I said earlier, man, Casey Concepcion, I like KC. I would have loved if the Patriots would have drafted him in the late 20s. But the Browns got to him first. So Casey, I just like the way that he runs routes. He just has to make sure that he catches the ball. But I feel like Casey can definitely make a difference on that offense. Not call him a difference maker, but I feel like he can make the offense better.
Agree with the Bijan takes. I like Coastal Loveland, so I think his impact will increase this season. Jordan Tyson, I agree with what y'all said about him. Whether you put him at 1 or 2, I think he will get his touches. Brees Hall, I don't know, man. I don't like their running back room a lot, so I think he will get a lot of carries. So I just don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how productive he's going to be this season. Xavier Worthy, you said 9th round. 9th round. I guess you would take him in the 9th, but I don't know. I think his role hasn't been identified for Kansas City yet, and that might be because of what's going on with the other receiver. So hopefully this season you get to see a full package of what they really have envisioned for Xavier Worthy. With both receivers being on the field, I think that's going to be a little bit of a difference. And Casey Concepcion, I actually had him as one of my honorable mentions for buyers. I just think with the limited amount of wide receiver depth they have in the room, he'll get a lot of touches. He'll get a lot of opportunity. I think he will be in a better role than Denzel Boston for the Browns. And I think with everything changing of the guards, obviously new OC, things of that nature, I don't know exactly what his role is yet, but I think KC could definitely have one of those seasons for the Browns as maybe even wide receiver 2. All right, so Dre.
Yeah, so DJ Moore, I'm buying because I think the Bills bought pretty high on him, and when a team pays what they paid for DJ Moore, I think it was actually kind of slightly overpaid, but that tells me that they're all in on DJ Moore, and he's going to get his touches. He's going to have the production. The Bills were a top five offense in the NFL last year. I think DJ Moore is going to be a big beneficiary of that this season. David Montgomery, I think with him, it's just that I think the Texans are going to focus on running the ball a lot this year. I think they're going to lean heavily on their defense, ball control, running the football. I don't think they're going to try to put the ball in CJ Stroud's hands too much. They're just going to ask him to manage the game. So I think David Montgomery will get a lot of touches, and I think he'll have some production for him. And Carnell Tate, I think, is going to be force fed the same way Malik Neighbors was force fed in Brian Daboll's offense. He was taken really high in the draft. Dayball has done this before. I just don't see why it wouldn't be the same way this year. I don't see who else is supposed to take those touches away from him. They brought in Wandale Robinson. They brought in Daniel Bellinger, but those were players that were on the field with Malik Neighbors when he broke the rookie record for receptions in a season that was then broken by Brock Bowers in the same season. But that's pretty much it for the buyers. For the sellers, Christian McCaffrey, I'm selling not because of the talent. I'm selling because I've heard multiple times now them talk about him potentially having a reduced workload this upcoming season. I think you do have other weapons that are going to get involved. I think Mike Evans, we talked about it earlier, true X in the offense. I think some of those things, even though it's a run-first offense, some of those things will take away from McCaffrey. And I think Certified said it, they'll have some other running backs behind him that they give some opportunities to try to keep him fresh. Because you can't have a guy having, 400 touches season in, season out. It's just not sustainable. So I think his workload is basically going to decrease. It's like I said, it's not a talent thing. It's just where he's being drafted. I wouldn't take him there for the workload I think he gets. Marvin Harrison, I don't think he's good. At least not good enough yet. Could he get there? Yes. But you got Trey McBride on that offense. You got Jeremiah Love on that offense. You got other people that are going to be productive. I just don't see the upside of Marvin Harrison Jr. this season. So I'm selling him, and I'm not touching him in the draft no matter where he is. And with Omar, I love Omar as a player. I think he's a really good player. I just think that there's only so many touches to go around the offense, and they got a lot of people over there that are going to need to get touches. You drafted Kenyon Sadiq, still got Garrett, got Omar. We just talked about Brees. The ball can only go to one guy on each play. So for me, it's just more of an opportunity thing and not even a talent thing with Omar Cooper.
So when you say you don't think he good,
Certified, you super low, my brother. You super low.
super low. What about now?
A little bit better. A little bit better.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
my
that's good.
headset
That's
tripping.
good. Yeah.
So when you say you don't think he's good, you mean like talent wise?
I don't think he's good enough yet. I don't think he's put it together. We've seen a lot of talented guys in the history of the NFL that just never put it all together. And he's getting drafted in the 6th, 7th round. He's going around that same spot where we were just talking about Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, those other guys.
I,
I think that there's going to be more productive guys in that range. I'm not
you know
touching
what?
Marvin Harrison.
I keep forgetting that we're doing fantasy, and I'm thinking football, but we're talking fantasy. My bad.
He's a talented wide receiver. I mean, he's one of the better college wide receivers I've ever seen. So, I'm not saying he's not good at all. He
Yeah,
just hasn't put it together.
Yeah, I mean, with the conversation is basically geared around production, and I don't
Yeah.
think anybody here believes that Marvin Harrison is going to produce uh, anything worth drafting him in the first 5, 6 rounds.
I mean, at best, he's the third option on the offense, right? Because I don't think he's before Trey McBride or Jeremiah Love, unless he put it all together this offseason.
I'll say this, man. He gets more touches than Michael Wilson, but he doesn't outproduce Michael Wilson.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say I don't know if he's above Michael Wilson, to be honest with you. I mean, Michael
yeah.
Wilson's much more productive than he is.
You know what, man? I don't know the young man. I just feel like the he's not the clear cut best athlete on the field every week, and
You,
he's just not. I just feel like he's not trying. I feel like he's in a league where everybody's good, and he's just like, I don't know. I can't tell you, dog. It doesn't. It's not adding up for me. But I don't trust him. I I will only if I just needed to fill a slot, I would not draft him. I would pick him up off the waiver wire. If a wide receiver was hurt and I had a few dudes on bye week, but I'm not using a draft pick on Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, facts.
but I think that's the problem is he's gonna get drafted. So that's if you want Marvin on your team, you're gonna have to draft not early, but you're gonna have to draft him.
Okay.
Um,
Can we play a game real quick? J Mick, to your point,
sure.
would you rather have Roma Dunze or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I probably want to have Rome because I think the Bears offense is gonna be more explosive.
Would you rather have Christian Watson or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
That's tough because Christian.
Oh, come on, Mick.
It's tough, but I'd probably go Watson because he's a more explosive wide receiver.
Would you rather have Jadarian Price or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I probably in a PPR league, I'd probably say Marv because I just I'm not as high as other people are on Price, so that's why I say that.
Last name I'll give you in this group: Dak Prescott or Marvin Harrison Jr. Which
Oh, that's
one
not
would you rather have on your fantasy
Oh,
team?
that's a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even just that, but Dak. People don't like Dak, but in a fantasy format, man, Dak be putting up a lot of points, man.
Yeah, that
But
get
that's the
busy.
range he's going in. Like that, he's going in that same range as those players. So I kind of agree with you with Jadarian. I think that's a little early for Jadarian Price. But my point still stands on the other two guys, like Christian Watson, Carnell Tate. Okay, we just talked about Jordan Tyson. Would you rather have Jordan Tyson or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Call me Jordan Tyson. I'm just more of a fan of Jordan Tyson. But
Another guy going in this range. So that's three receivers right there that you would take over Marvin Harrison Jr. going in a similar range as him.
I mean, but also coming into the league, I didn't believe Marvin Harrison was this generational prospect that a lot of people thought he was. I never
He
bought
did
it.
say that.
I never did. Now, and you know, like, and I think a lot of people label him that is because of his daddy. To be honest, with you.
It's the name.
It's the name because if you watch him in Arizona, I mean, I don't know, but it feels like to me he don't got the dog in him.
Yeah,
Like,
he just looks disinterested, man. Like, I mean, I'm here, dog. Like,
yeah,
I'm here.
And I mean, I'm sorry, but maybe at Ohio State that was good enough when you're playing teams like Northwestern and you know, like in Wisconsin and like lower level Big Ten teams. But you're in the league now, like you're playing against guys that are just as talented as you. And so it's great to be super, you know, like super talented, but you got to put the effort in too. And I agree with Certified. You know, sometimes I'll be watching the Cardinals games and I feel like he just not, you know, he's not giving 110% like on every single play.
Do y'all think it could be he's not used to being on bad teams?
I mean, it could be that.
I mean,
that could
but
be a
that's why you get drafted.
possibility. That could be a possibility, but I'm looking at all these other talented wide receivers that have gone to quote unquote bad teams, and I
Malik
still
Neighbors.
see.
My fault.
Nah, that's a fact, and I'm seeing what he was able to do. Like for me, it's I never liked the conversation people were having about him in college just because I get it. Yeah, he's doing this. But I'm looking at other guys in his draft class. I like a lot better. Now you're staying in Arizona, you're kind of reinforcing whatever bias I have towards you because you do not seem to have that dog you need to have in you to be at the caliber people spoke about him on. And he just never had that. And last season, I watched a few Cardinals games and I'm just looking at him giving up on plays at times. And it's like, bruh, get your head in the game. To me, I'm not selling him. I'm not buying him. He is not touching any of my fantasy teams. Um, he's just a guy I just find is not reliable enough for me to even take a flyer on him. I'm looking at other guys and that would be at that tier. I just feel more comfortable drafting him at the rounds that he'll be drafted at. Um Christian McCaffrey, I don't necessarily agree with him being a seller because I just feel like, especially if this is a redraft league, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take what he was able to do last season and kind of be like, okay, if you could get like three-fourths of this, I like it. I'm probably not drafting him that high, like in the first round, maybe round two, round three. If he's able to last, that's where I'm looking at getting CMC.
Yeah, but he's going in the first round.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying for me, where I'm taking him, that's where I feel comfortable. He is not like a if I'm looking at a first round running back, Christian McCaffrey is not a guy I'm looking at. I just find a little bit higher value guys in the first round for me.
Yeah, I agree with everything, even the McCaffrey thing. Same thing. I don't think that he's going to fall off physically or talent wise, but they did say there's going to be emphasis to limit his touches. I think he's going to get premium touches, first down, third down. Um, he will see a lot of lighter boxes than he did last year because we really didn't have any wide receivers. I agree with the Marvin Harrison thing. I just don't trust him. And Cooper, man, I just, man, I, I, hey, man, Pete, June, man, I love you dudes over there, Jets commute, man. But I just, listen, man. I be fighting for y'all, man. I really do. Cause Mika tell you, I say what I say all the time, man. The Jets, they draft pretty well. You know,
Damn.
I'm not gonna say they draft every draft pretty well, but when they hit is multiple. They double up, triple up, quadruple up in one draft. You know,
Right.
and I think they could potentially have done that again. I just don't like the coaching staff, man, from top to bottom. I don't like nothing. So it's like I think it's gonna be more of the same. You know what I'm saying? And we all talking fantasy, so it, it I just don't see the production there for him. You know, especially with Justin Fields is no Gino.
Gino, yeah.
Yeah, Gino, he already starting off wrong on the wrong foot, man. He beating up his baby mama. He's
Well, I mean,
speeding down, yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly speeding down
Charges
the
are dropped.
highway. Yeah, that too. But you know, Goodell, he don't care. It's speeding down the highway, no registration, no license, in a Bentley. You know, I don't know what's up with him, but
He tell him act his wage, man.
yeah. Now on the other side, DJ Moore, Josh Allen going to spam his wide receiver one. That's so he's going to get his opportunities. I I don't personally trust DJ Moore. I don't know which DJ Moore is going to show up, or if he is going to show up. The way that he ended the season in Chicago, I just can't get jiggy with it. But I understand it. David Montgomery, I like this because he's definitely going to get his opportunity to be the RB1, and um, in the regular season, man, CJ Stroud is gold. It's just you just got to keep him out the playoffs. So I like that. And Carnell Tate, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not big on sophomore quarterbacks, and he learned a new system. Rookie wide receiver. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like anything in Tennessee, to be honest with you. But we'll see.
For me, I'm not buying super high on DJ Moore, but like the thing is, early in Josh Allen's career, when he had Diggs, he spammed him the ball. Diggs been gone a couple years, so he's kind of been more of the spread the ball out kind of guy recently. Um, I really want to see how, like, because if you talk to Bills fans, they think the offense is going to be more dynamic, it's going to change more. I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, the OC that was there last year is just a head coach. He's still going to be calling the plays. And I just feel like James Cook is still going to be a major factor in this offense. I don't think you go from using James Cook a lot, his usage being used a lot, to hardly using him at all and just trying to air it out. But I do think, and this is just in fantasy terms, I do think DJ Moore has a good season. I don't think he's going to be this super boom wide receiver. David Montgomery, I love it. I mean, he got traded to a situation where he's going to be RB1. Because I mean, Woody Marks is essentially the third down back. I mean, that's the role that they're probably gonna have him in. That's his best role. So I mean, David Montgomery is gonna get plenty of field time, plenty of touches running the football, and I feel like the Texans O line is gonna be better. Carnell Tate, I think Carnell Tate's in a situation. I wasn't a huge believer in Carnell Tate in the draft, but from a fantasy perspective, I think he's gonna get a lot of the volume because he's gonna be their number one wide receiver. I mean, Wendell Robinson is not going to be your number one wide receiver, and the other two guys that they drafted last year are not. They proved that last year that they weren't number one wide receivers. So I think Carnell Tate, as long as he performs in training camp, I think he comes in there as a wide receiver one, and he's going to get the targets. I mean, and I think he should do well. I'm not buying the whole 49ers with Christian McCaffrey. We're going to give him less touches. I've been hearing this talking point for 3 years. Like they come in this time every year, talk about, we brought in this running back and he's gonna get less touches. I mean, CMC's gonna get less touches. We're gonna get the backups more touches. The only time they did was when he was hurt and he wasn't playing. So I'm sorry, like I just don't believe it. So I'm not selling Christian. I'm not buying him either. I kind of got him in that midpoint because I mean, truth be told, and I'm gonna tell a little history here. A couple years ago, when I drafted CMC in the top 4, dude got hurt. So, I mean, he kind of burned me. So, and I'm the kind of guy in fantasy, when you burn me once, I tend not to want to draft you. Because I don't trust you. So that's kind of I'm with him. I mean, I said it earlier, Marvin. I'm selling on Marvin. Like I don't believe he was a generational prospect coming into the league. And I don't think the effort is there. And I just think with their quarterback situation, like I think you have to show the effort to get the ball. And I just don't think he's going to get the ball more than Trey McBride. I mean, with them drafting a running back at number 3, I think he's going to get a lot of touches, not just in the run game, but in the pass game. And then you still got Michael Wilson there. Michael Wilson produced him last year. And so I just think it's going to be a struggle. And it's a new coaching staff. So they're not beholden to Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison got to prove and show that he belongs on that team. And I mean that, that the targets he gets that he deserves. So he's gonna have to prove that. So that's something to be seen. And I agree with Omar Cooper. Like I just think the Jets. I do believe in Brees, but I can't believe in too many skill positions on this team with Geno being your quarterback. I think there's there's only so many targets to go around, and then like with Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, and then they drafted the kid out of the tight end last year out of LSU, I believe, and then they drafted another tight end this year. I just don't know if there's enough targets to go around, and the thing is, like, I like Omar Cooper Jr. I think he has the potential over time to be a good receiver. I just, from a fantasy perspective, like I said, I don't know if there's enough targets this year to go around, and so I'd probably sell on him.
Yeah, and just for me to touch on the buyers, yeah, I'm buying DJ Moore. I think to me, he's a solid wide receiver option for that Bills offense, and I think he immediately becomes one. And that's just if I'm looking at target share. So yeah, I'm definitely buying him. David Montgomery solidifies what the Texans thought they were going to be able to do with Mixon, seeing if he would be able to bounce back from that injury, which he didn't. So they tried to supplement that with Nick Chubb, who gave them that burn. But I just think that David Montgomery is a little bit more healthier option, veteran running backs that they can pair with Woody Marks, who I think started to really come on strong for them later on in the season. And Parnell Tate, this is kind of my opinion I had with Jordan Love. You don't draft a guy that high and you're not getting the type of target shares that demands. I also know that he will be more prioritized just moving forward in that offense in this season than Calvin Ridley. I think they're kind of out on Ridley at this moment, and Parnell Tate will become wide receiver one for them. And honestly, I think he's kind of default wide receiver one for them right now in the preseason time. So I'm definitely a buyer of him.
All right, so I got the same story Mick got about Christian McCaffrey. That boy burnt me. I took him in the first round. I think I took him 5th overall. And that boy barely played a game for me. I don't even think he played a game for me because I think I got him off the team before he even got back. Marvin Harrison Jr., I hear all y'all saying the negative, but man, I don't know. I think
That's 6th round, Smitty. You taking DJ Moore or Marvin Harrison? Because they going in the same round.
DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison in the 6th. I'm a little bit indifferent than y'all.
Come on.
Come on, Smitty.
I'm taking Marv.
Oh, I guess you a buyer on Marv then.
Ain't
I
no
got
way
I
I'm
got
taking
I got
Marv
high
over
expectations for
DJ
Marv,
Moore.
man. I don't think
Ain't
I agree with
nowhere.
J Mick that he's not generational, but I just think a change of quarterback this season, change of OC, right? You know what I mean? I think he could see some promise, man. I just felt like a lot of the things that happened last year. I mean, especially your quarterback coming out and saying it's not my priority to get you the ball. I mean, that could be a big issue, but neither here nor there. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has a decent season this year, man. I'm not a complete soul that he's a bum. He's done, and he ain't gonna be able to produce enough on a fantasy team that I can't take him in the 6th. I mean, I really do. I like Marvin Harrison. I agree with Omar Cooper. I think going to a team obviously already has wide receiver one. I think they just took tight end one. Brees Hall. I mean, I think he's like Omar Cooper to me right now is a 4th or 5th option on that team. I just don't know how much production he gets out of that. Carnell Tate set up in a really good position. I wasn't really a fan of him coming out of college, but I think he's in a good position where they really don't have anybody reliable at the wide receiver position that you just be like, oh, he gonna have to sit behind him to figure out touches. Like, I think he comes in and he's pretty much taking all the reps and touches that he wants if he performs well. David Montgomery, Pop kind of said it. He's going into a system where he's kind of playing the opposite role that he played in the previous system. I think he's going to be the starter. And then you're going to have Woody Marks coming in, taking the extras. So I think David Montgomery will get a lot of touches compared to what he has with the Lions. I think he still have productive seasons with the Lions. I think he could have a more productive season with the Texans. They need a running game really bad to try to help their quarterback. So they will lean on David Montgomery and Woody Marks in this offense. So I believe David Montgomery. I think DJ Moore, somebody spoke on it earlier. His inconsistency sometimes throws me. Like, he'll come out and have a really, really good game. And then the next game, you forget he on the team. It's just not, and there's no in between. There's no like he goes out and gets you 60. It's like either he goes out and get 100 plus, or he's almost unplayable. It's just, and I'm stuck with that. Maybe it was because of the Bears and the history of what he did over there, and I mean, I think
Nah, he was like that on the
He did that
Panthers
with the Panthers
too.
too, man.
Yeah, he was the
I was
same
trying to
way.
give him the benefit. I was trying to give him the benefit of the
Nah,
doubt.
I mean, like you're not wrong. Like he give you 110 one game, and then the very next game is 2 for 12. It's crazy.
Josh Allen is the best quarterback DJ Moore has ever played with. Any disagreement?
No, there's no disagreement there.
He's the clear wide receiver one in his offense, right?
Yeah, but you want to know the funny thing about DJ Moore? DJ Moore's best seasons has been with the worst quarterbacks.
I'm buying this situation, man. I'm
I
buying
mean,
the
the situation is
with
great.
DJ.
I mean, the situation. He's wide receiver one with.
Yeah.
Some people
I
call
don't
him the
think the
best quarterback
situation
in
is
the
the
league.
issue. I think it's the player and the mentality. If you can't come out every game and be productive, there's going to be games where I put you on my fantasy team, and we get blowed out by the other opponent that's lining up at wide receiver against you, and you have 3 points.
And then, I mean, don't get this twisted either. I mean, the people of Buffalo are nice people, but they're expecting certain things out of DJ Moore. And if he does some of the same stuff he did with the Bears last year, he's gonna have some issues. That's all I'm gonna say.
But I think DJ Moore is in a good situation. I said that just now. He's in a good situation. If he can be consistent and lock in and stay the path, yeah, he's gonna get a lot of passes from Josh Allen. He's gonna get a lot of opportunity. But that's just where I'm at. But Christian McCaffrey, like I said before, it has nothing to do with production. But he already burnt me once. I won't give him an opportunity to flop my season again.
You should draft him in the first round then.
I'm crying. But I do want to give a counterpoint to something you had said earlier. When you were talking about Marvin Harrison, last season he did have a quarterback change. Jacoby Brissett came in, and I saw Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, and other guys on that team take a leap. But Marvin Harrison, you're still kind of in the middle of the pack with your production, like kind of bottom tier. So I'm hearing you, but you're going into that same situation with Jacoby Brissett being your potential starting quarterback once
But
again.
Pop, I wasn't just pitting on quarterback. OC changed too. I think that together. I was more like the quarterback
No,
change plus
I'm hearing
the
you.
OC.
I'm hearing you.
I
I'm
think
hearing
Marvin
you.
gonna
My
get some
thing,
chances.
I'm hearing everything you're saying, Smith. For me, I just don't think, just like we were talking about DJ Moore, like how he really ain't got that dog. That's just how I feel about Marvin Harrison. And I don't think that a OC change is going to change him, who he is as a makeup as a player. Maybe I could be proven wrong, but I just don't believe that at this moment.
Oh, good. I just think I don't know, man. I'm not sold on being like it's over with for him. Like that's just not where I'm at with him yet. I think 40 receptions on a season is very putrid. I think he gets more than 40 receptions this year. I think he's pushing somewhere closer to where he was in 2024 with more yards. I think this might be his 1,000-yard season. I could be wrong, but I think he might bust 1,000. Just me. But yeah, man, that is the conclusion of our buyers and sellers. We appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. If like Dre said, if you have anything that you want us to review as a podcast, hit the CheckDown Twitter page, send it to the DMs, and we will present it on the show. We will talk about how we feel about your team. If you have Dynasty, PPR, however your league is set up, we will take a review of it. If you want to drop your whole roster in the DM, we'll get it on the next fantasy show. With that being said, man, go ahead.
Well, the one thing I would say, if you do send us that, make sure when you send us the team, make sure you send us what kind of league that you're in. I mean, so that we can review it properly. That's all.
Yeah. Any kind of questions you guys have? Next week we're reviewing defense buyers and sellers. If you have any questions there, or even about anything we said today, Just inbox us, man. We'll get to the questions. We'll do a little mailbox segment for y'all.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals is Nathaniel Hackett. So take that information how you will.
Go ahead, Pop. We getting out of here.
All right, bet. Make sure y'all follow the CheckDown YouTube page, like, comment, subscribe, hype if you can. Follow the CheckDown Twitter page, join the CheckDown Twitter community. Always remember to tell a friend, and we'll tap in with y'all next Saturday at 11:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Check. Check down. Check down. This a check down. We give it to you straight. This a check down. We really watch the tape. This a check down. We give it to you straight. This a check down. We really watch the tape. From the street to the game, we bring that flow. Analyze every move, feel the knowledge grow. In the lights of the city, where champions are made. 2 men